Go some a little taster.
He's got to share, but that guy's always so busy, like in the back, just using his tweezers to put everything, making it look nice. So
we're good. All right, we're good. Welcome to the show, Johnny. Welcome back.
Thank you,
Charles. Welcome to the show. We haven't talked about beer in a while, and I'm glad we get this chance. Before we started here, we were talking about how there really are no places to actually have a conversation and drink at the same time without having to speak over music. And then we brought up kitchen lingo, and they did really change the game. Absolutely, man. It's crazy. Even from the restaurant game, even eating fancy food, it's fucking nuts.
Yeah,
right.
Yep.
I mean, how often do you guys go there? Do you go there every time you come back?
Yeah, you know what? This trip I haven't really went there as much, just because we're like so busy. You know, just busy getting this whole jiu-jitsu thing ready, this whole beer event ready.
So you were involved with that whole weekend then, huh?
Yeah. But I wasn't really a part of the jiu-jitsu thing, but then because I do jiu-jitsu, I like to participate in it.
I see.
But besides that too, I've always been at spas, just making sure all the beers are ready for the Sunday event.
Right.
So doing some one-off kegs, just trying to figure out, hey, what are we going to do something cool?
Right.
Like that, what is that Faja stout?
man.
That was just like out of the blue. We're just like, hey man, we got 4 days to do something. Let's do something.
And you can manipulate the taste of a beer over 4 days like that?
Not really. We had to kind of
Depends.
put it in a keg and just keep shaking it to kind of like introduce the infusion of that coconut a lot faster.
How does that work though? I mean, you have the brewed beer ready, and so it's just like a regular ale.
So we have back in California where we brewed the beer, we have maybe about 200 gallons of this 12% stout.
Yeah.
And then we transferred it to 4 bourbon barrels. So while we were shipping beers from here.
Wait, a bourbon barrel? Sorry,
I don't get
that. Okay, so it's like
it's like a
wooden,
aging.
it's a wooden barrel.
Yeah. Okay. So that's how that's what you would age.
Like bourbon in.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this one is Buffalo Trace. Like I think it's like a 10-year barrel or something. So we aged it, but we didn't. It hasn't been aging for like a full year with beer. Just maybe like 3-4 months. Yeah. Just because we wanted to send something cool to Guam besides just IPAs, pale ales, and the wheat beer. So we're just like, hey dude, let's do something cool. Just send 1 keg over there to Guam and see what people think about it, right? And it's like a 12% stout, like full body, chewy, viscous, decadent, like tons of chocolate flavor.
Okay, every time
we were your guinea pigs.
Yeah, you know what? You guys were the first ones to try it. Like people in California never even got to try it yet. Like we were planning to bottle a bunch of it, but
okay, are stouts supposed to taste like soy sauce? Because every time I drink a stout, it always feels like it has that sort of like I opened a bottle of soy sauce and I just went go go go. It just has that viscous texture of soy sauce.
You know what? When you think of soy sauce, then probably it's gonna taste like soy sauce, right? But I don't know. I think it's just if it's maybe acidic, because a dark beer, the acidity kind of,
how is it
pH
supposed
goes
to
down,
taste? Like
a little roasty, a little chocolatey.
So stouts are usually like chocolate stouts, or
or more roastiness.
Forgive my ignorance on all of it. Yeah,
it's cool because sometimes I still learn, right? Like I still don't know what's the big difference between porters and stouts. And then when I just ask somebody from like Minnesota and stuff, there's like, porters are less roasty and lighter than a high alcohol beer, right?
What does that mean?
I know. I'm like, well then all my stouts were super sweet because I don't really care for the roast,
right?
But am I gonna start calling my beers porter?
Right.
But it's just like a,
so it doesn't matter if the part of the process it became a stout that would turn it into a porter.
No, you know what? There's like, I try to Google the debate and everything too, and people don't know. You know, like nobody knows.
Right.
I guess it's just what you want to call your beer.
I think the history of stout was everything that was not a light beer
Yeah.
with a low ABV. That's what, at least the general word I've read. But then, when I do my stouts, there's still so much sugar left over that I just sparge it again and make a porter out of it, just so I don't waste grain, because grain is so much cost to come out here.
Right.
So I forgot what that method was called, but you can make, if there's leftover sugars in the grain,
Like a party guile or
a
something?
party guile. There you go.
Yeah.
That's what I didn't want to do.
No, you're good.
Yeah, party guile. There you go.
Or you can just sparge it again, make it a black IPA.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
So even though you mess up, you can sort of still manipulate it for it to become something else.
Not really.
Yeah. It's I don't know. Once you do that, you can probably change it to something else, but now you're changing the style a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like when I first tried making a stout with like homebrew, when I was homebrewing. What I'm used to is getting maybe 85% sugars out of my beer mashing process. But then when you try to make a beer so high in gravity, which is like a lot of sugar, your percentage of extracting sugar goes down. So it's like from 85% to like 60. So you got to keep.
That's a huge drop.
Yeah. I don't know why. Maybe because the sugars go through so much grain when you're trying to like drain it out.
So you basically have to keep adding to keep the percentage that you want.
Yeah, you gotta put like maybe double the amount of grains just to make something over 10% or something. Yeah, it's crazy.
Or you can cheat and add sugar.
Yeah. After you do the conversion of everything, make up for it.
Right. Oh man, off by a few percent.
Yeah, you put that, but then now you're changing a bunch of stuff now, and it just like man.
Yeah,
So.
it seems very extremely meticulous. So when you were first starting out home brewing, where did that spark up for you?
Okay, starting a home brew, like maybe, I'm not sure what year that is, bro. Maybe like 2013.
Wow.
So
How much of the science did you know?
No, nothing at all.
Okay.
I didn't even know how beer was made at the time. So we went to a brewery that was down the street from me, and it was like their second anniversary. So they had some beers that were archived and stuff, and then they had this beer. It was like you couldn't buy it unless you drank it at the tasting room. So, and I was like, I saw the price of it. It was like $60 for one bottle, like the size of a champagne bottle.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, who the hell's gonna buy freaking beer at that price, dude? $60.
Right.
It was like 12% also, right? But then like, as I read it more, it says like, oh, okay, aged in like barrels, right? Like bourbon barrels also. It had like wax on it with like a leather tag. I was like, damn, like even though you do all this, I still wouldn't pay $60, right? But yeah, they opened it. I tried it. It smelled good, like fig, some like dark raisins and stuff like that. It was an old ale. Like the style was called old ale.
Like you were able to choose out like figs.
And I don't eat figs, dude.
Yeah, me neither. I've never tried it,
But it's like, it reminds
Smell
me.
the figs.
Yeah. But it reminds me of a
Fig Newtons.
kid, dude. That's exactly it. Like when I was a kid, I was like, oh man, it brought me into a time where I'm like, this reminds me of Fig Newtons, dude. With even like the little bread and crackery taste or whatever. But yeah, but it was boozy. Like when I say boozy, is like I can feel like heat from alcohol. Like,
Okay.
But I was like, man, okay, yeah, like this thing tastes good. And it's like kind of warm also, where the taste lingers. It doesn't go away. You're not drinking it. It's not flat and watery. Like,
So you're not
a
talking
lager.
temperature warm. It's more of a warmer taste.
yeah.
Okay.
So, and it's like also medium to thick bodied, where it's like, man, I don't know what kind of warm drink.
Yeah. So you describe it how you are now. What was really going through your mind with the first time you tried it?
I was like, oh man, I'm getting buzzed, dude. Like, holy cow. Like, I only had one glass, and I'm like, you know what? This is cool, dude. Like, drinking beer. I've never had beer like that before, right? But
were you thinking about how you were describing it, how it was making you feel, or
just like the taste of it, and then the taste of it was just original to me.
Yeah.
And then
Have you
after
been
that,
drinking craft beers before that?
No, man. The only craft beer I probably drank was like Sierra Nevada Celebration, right?
Yeah.
And this is like a winter beer that they sell at Costco. And it tastes like shit, dude.
That's all we had on Guam too, bro.
Yeah, it was like so bitter. But that was the only drink. That's the only beer we were drinking once we ran out of Heineken and Budweiser and Coronas and stuff.
Yeah.
So, only because Bear always brought the craft beers to the party that no one cared about. So he knew no one would drink his beers. So, but if there was nothing else left, we would drink his shit, and it would be like, oh wow, dude, this thing is potent, dude.
Should have been drinking this since the beginning.
Can't say the same now. If you were to bring something to a party, that's the first thing everyone's gonna drink, and then
Right.
it's gonna get
for
left.
reals, dude. It's like, any of that craft beer still in there?
But that's where it's changing now, you know.
Now they gotta hide the coolers. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But but for me to get into homebrewing or like think about it, I just thought it was cool that you can make a beer taste something good, like a dessert like, and then still get buzzed without drinking 4 to 6 cans of it, you know.
Right.
So I was like, okay, you know, like how does beer
there was sort of a sophistication to it.
Yeah.
An art.
Yeah.
Right. Craft.
Craft, yeah.
I know.
So we don't beat up the word craft.
We were headed there.
We'll use artful beer.
But yeah, after that, I had a friend who homebrewed. He was an attorney, you know. He knew how to homebrew, so I hit him up and I was like, hey man, like I'm interested in this homebrewing thing. And he was like, it's a lot of work, dude, but if you want to learn, you can come over, we'll homebrew together, and if you like it, like I'll help you out, guide you. So 2 weeks later, he was like building up a recipe, and I'm like, just do research, because once I sink my teeth into something, I'm like in, you know.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, this is cool. I just wanted to kind of get like learn some of the terminology and jargon that he would use, right? Because sparge, who the hell knows what sparge is, or Vorloft and stuff, right?
Still don't know.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like,
I learned
research
that
this
today,
thing.
just at this very moment.
Yeah, so I would just research this thing and kind of get like a process. I would YouTube it just to see how things go. And then we're trying to brew a stout the first time, and I was like, well, okay, yeah, I kind of get what he's doing, you know. And I thought it was cool. And then like once we did it, I was like, it's not that bad. So
just more time than anything.
Yeah, it took about like 6 hours, but the whole time was cool because we're all drinking while we're waiting for this thing.
Yeah.
So
how does the process differ, John? And you can jump in too. How does the process differ when you're going from, I guess, just a regular pale ale to a stout, as I guess a lighter beer to a much darker beer?
It's pretty much kind of the same process. You know, you do your methodology is the same. It's just a lot of ingredients, and then, man, I don't even know where to start. I'll let Charles handle this.
Pale ale. So I guess basically you start with like lighter colored malts, right?
Okay.
Not as roasted or caramelized or burnt or anything, but I would basically start off with a bunch of brewer's malt, like two-row, the basic malt that's kind of kilned. What do you call it? Kilned or
Kiln, roasted. Yeah, it depends. Smoked sometimes.
Putting it by a fire.
The process of drying out and malting the grains, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, it's almost like when you're making fried rice, you start with the rice first, right? And then you start putting the other stuff in it. So just start with like the white rice.
I always start with the meat, dude.
We can talk about meat. It's like rare, medium rare. You know, the roasting as far as for stouts, like you have like rare, medium, you know, going all the way to well done. That's like roasted. You can start off super pale and it won't be as chocolatey, as figgy, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can work your way to the more darker roast, which come out more coffee, chocolate. And that's where the art form comes in. You kind of have to know what properties each grain has and what you want out of your final beer.
Right.
From a pale ale to a stout, which is like totally different sides of the spectrum. But the process is still the same. It's just ingredients, and the brewing day process is pretty much the same.
So the darker the roast would be, the darker the beer, or the longer the roast. Is it dark roast, light roast?
Yeah,
is it like coffee?
It's like they have like a color scale to it.
Okay.
Coffee, yeah.
But yeah, the darker the roast, usually it would taste more burnt, more roasty, more coffee-like flavor. While the lighter, the more sugary, toffee,
bready.
Yeah.
So it's more of it. It would be more attuned towards taste rather than
taste and color,
potency, right? Or
yeah,
alcohol content.
Yeah. So the more sugar, the more alcohol you'll get out of it.
Okay.
Or the more grain, but it can't be an unfermentable, right? An unfermentable grain, which is like it's kind of been roasted past its conversion kind of thing. Yeah.
Like, nah, dude, that one that one was over the fire directly.
that was like the leftover spillage going that fell from the barbecue pit.
It's the burnt rice.
Yeah.
It's like I don't want that part of the fried rice.
For real.
Unless you're gonna add like English soy sauce and stuff. That's for texture.
I don't know. Our grandma was famous at you take the leftover red rice and you then she adds bacon and onions to it, and that's fried rice.
The next day.
Day.
Spare ribs.
Miss you, grandma. Damn, miss my red rice, fried rice. Damn.
But a lot of things also is especially if you're gonna enter your beer into competitions, it's this style. It has to be this ABV. It has to be this color. If you're gonna do a Pello, it has to be within a certain parameter.
And these things can be actually like tested to the exact point, right?
They have scales, IBU scales for bitterness, SRM for how dark it is. Yeah, ABV for the alcohol percentage. That's more on if you're gonna put into like a competition where you have actual judges judging your beer to style. But I mean, if you're a home brewer or it doesn't even matter if you're a professional brewer, people are nowadays pushing the boundaries as away from the styles, and just like Omnipolo did a beer that they put like actual French fries and hamburgers into the boil.
Seen fried chicken.
Fried chicken,
fried chicken and waffles.
I saw a picture on your Facebook. You put marshmallows.
Yeah. I put that into the boil to kind of give it like a vanilla taste to it. Yeah. Add some sugar to it so it's higher in alcohol once it ferments.
Right.
Excited for that one to come out.
But the sugar, it's still in brew. That's like something new.
It's already done fermenting.
Okay.
But we're just kind of like letting it settle and develop a little bit more because it is a higher gravity beer, which is a strong, higher alcohol beer. We kind of want it to mellow out because right now it's very busy, based on like malts wise. I probably use like 9 different malts in that beer.
So what happens to the actual thing, like the marshmallows, the fried chicken,
I don't know what happens to the marshmallow. The marshmallow just melts.
Yeah. But like the fried chicken and the French fries and the hamburgers,
dude, I don't know.
I guess is it just become like sediment? Does it become sediment in the beers? Like, oh look, backwash. It's like
whatever solid would probably
it's
just
a tomato.
Stay. I know, but I would think you would get some of that
sort of like filter it, right?
Yeah, but I think you would get French fry taste and
that oily taste.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think also if you filter beer, it will take away the taste, right?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Because I have a beer that I filtered and a beer that was unfiltered. Same thing. I like the one that was unfiltered better. Yeah, because you don't take out, because yeast adds flavor too. Yeast, and you got the hop oils in there.
So you're basically like watering it down almost too, right?
No, I think the alcohol percentage.
Oh shoots! For some reason, I was thinking water filter.
It's just
for some
clarity.
reason. Yeah. Okay. So it would like just be poured through like a cheesecloth or something.
There's so many
like
different ways to do it.
Yeah, there's like tablets that'll like suck up all the proteins and to style they would want that, right? For a West Coast IPA, they like that clarity. But
Northeast Coast, that's why you got all that hazies. That's why they call. I know that's what they use as hazies. Mm-hmm. But because of the way the process is, they don't really care for how clear the beer is. They want a lot of the stuff that is in suspension for you to drink.
Right.
But a lot of
they want it gritty.
They want not necessarily gritty, just more opaque, I guess. They're not going for not opaque, but they're not going for hazy.
When you say clarity, it's like looking
You
through
can see
it.
through it,
Yeah.
like, but you
Like
hold
this
up,
is hazy right here.
Yeah.
But I like the way hazy looks because it kind of like holds light and it has a nice hueing glow to it.
Yeah, yeah.
It
What,
looks like
what are we
juice.
drinking here?
Oh, sorry. Should be a.
I should have started off with this. Jeez. Sorry. Excuse me.
This is a clean saison.
Super
right?
clean, yeah.
Very good.
It was a DuPont strain. It actually lagged out, so it didn't attenuate as much.
Is this something that you did yourself?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't sell my beer. I put it in kegs.
Oh.
No. You did it though, right?
Oh, I brewed it.
right?
Yes, sorry. I thought
Okay,
it was by selling it.
It is really good.
Thank you. Use local mangoes from my mom's house.
Oh, this has mangoes?
Thanks, Mom, for picking. Yeah, I only put 1 pound per gallon, which wasn't enough, so I need to up it up more.
Yeah, it's hard to get mango flavor.
Yeah.
You gotta like Vitamix that.
But
thing
that's
and-
one of the sweetest fruits there is, right?
Yeah, but it's crazy, man.
Do you say
Yeah.
Vitamix?
Yeah.
That's what he did for on Sunday.
Blend it.
Yeah.
You gotta blend that thing.
In prep too.
Yeah, you just Vitamix it, put in a strainer, throw it in there,
Right.
cold crash it. You gotta. It's a lot of work.
Right.
So,
No, go ahead. Enlighten me, dude.
Yeah. So you just get one of those mesh bags, put purified or pureed mango. Only I use a mesh bag just because we did it in the keg. But if we were gonna do it like in our system, I would have just dumped the whole puree in there cold, like leave it there for a few days, then set the temperature to like 35 or something. Make all the hard matter, protein, whatever, just fall out, and then just like drain it from the top of it. And then that's how we would like separate the solids from the liquid. But because we're on a time crunch here, we're just like, dude, just leave it. That's why like when we're pouring it, you can kind of see like some like
Sediment.
puree, but shit, people drank the shit out of it.
Right.
It was a hit.
Shit, I liked it.
Yeah, I bet.
That was the
Right.
locals first.
Locals first was the base beer for that.
I
Yeah.
So what made you decide that brewing out of home brewing that you wanted to start your own thing?
Shoot. So I would make it. I would start with a 5-gallon batch. Then I would not end up with enough to give friends and drink for myself. Then we went up to 10, and then still, and then because I would call my boys like, hey man, like, because I hate the fucking cleaning process of it. Right? Takes forever, bro. I think it's you have to work as you go, but I don't know. I just geek out on the brewing part. I don't care about the. So I've always bought equipment and spent a lot of money on anything that would make brewing process like faster. But also like brew days are good too because you just call your boys so they can help you clean.
Yeah.
But at the same time you would drink. So and they always brought the good shit.
Killing two birds with one stone there.
Yeah. But you know, like of course, when they help you, you gotta like share your beers with the boys too.
Right. You gotta break out the secret stuff you've been holding out on,
dude. And then I would after brew day, like after everything's done fermenting, I would only end up with like 4 bottles or something, and like all the 10 boys that came up to help, they got like the rest of it, and I'm like, bro, we gotta like increase this to like 30 gallons. Went 30 gallons, and then we're just like, you know, man. Like,
we might have to invite less boys.
Or make more beer.
That's a quick. We need a quick solution. Call 5 of them.
right? But yeah, dude. But everybody just wanted to come, dude. You know, so it's like, and these guys were
Yeah,
like
you're creating a
LA.
culture, like a little ecosystem of drinkers.
Yeah, and these guys love it too, man. Like if anything, like they tell me also what's good. They share. So that's how I get my inspiration, right? For you to make really good beers, you gotta drink good beers, and you brew what you like.
And that's the best way that you can like critique people. I mean, you can get critiqued, right?
Yeah.
You ever
yeah.
got? I mean, did you ever get any bad feedback or
Oh,
negative
yeah,
feedback?
all the time, dude, all the
Oh,
time.
especially from the boys, right?
Yeah.
It's
So
like, oh, bro, dude.
no. The boys are like, oh man, this thing is great. Sometimes you don't trust their
For
their
real.
you know, but you gotta give it to
the typical Guam root you on no matter what. Oh, don't worry, boy, you did good. I struck out 3 times today. What are you talking
guys.
about?
Bro, you almost won.
You almost won.
You get an A for effort. That happens so many times. I don't know how many times I contaminated my beer with wild yeast, and the boy's like, I don't see anything wrong with this. This is cherry. I'm like, okay, drink it, because I was going to dump it. I'll take it.
Dude.
Like guinea pigs.
But yeah, man, from there, we're just like, dude, why don't we just start a brewery? You know, like most home brewers, they just start and see if they can start selling, you know?
Right.
But I think I got enough good feedback where it kind of like sparked it for me, you know?
How many beers did you start with, at least? You know, at least flavors did you start with to be like, all right, yeah, time to sell it? Or were you just decide, well, I'm just going to sell this?
Dude, I messed up a lot, man. Like the first beer I bought was just a kit. I think it was like a partial. So it's like some grain, some syrup, right? And that's like the easiest way to start brewing. And it's like a kit that you can buy online, and it has instructions. It takes you about 2 hours just to make it or something, right? 2 to 3 hours. But
yeah, does it come in a box like this big?
Yeah.
Extract kits.
Yeah. And then like my second beer was like, after reading online blogs and stuff, I was like, hey dude, I know how to make Black Tuesday, right? Which is 18% beer, and it's a stout. And I was like, shit, let's do it, dude. It's easy. I know how to read directions, right? And it just came out like shit, infected, sour, and it had like
what do you? Johnny said infected too.
Mm-hmm.
What does infected mean?
When you get like some wild bacteria growing in there.
So you can tell, like, if you open up the help me out, fermenter,
Yeah.
and you see shit growing,
like pellicles and stuff. It looks like a freaking man of war, or something like that.
Sometimes you want that for sour
like
beers, but for all the other beers you see that's a no.
Yeah.
Like you left the rice in the rice pot too long, right?
Probably.
I like your rice analogies, man.
You brought up the rice, dude. I'm so stuck on the rice, dude.
Yeah, dude. So, but yeah, and then you just taste it. Once you taste it, you're like, oh, dude, sour.
Yeah.
Soy sauce light. That's not me, Kiko Man fucking style, right? Or soy sauce, dude.
You start putting it in the soy sauce body, like, just use this on your rice. Fuck it, dude. It's too sour, dude.
Dude,
we'll give it to the boys. This is the cleaning beer.
Bro, that's the Finideni.
beer.
With too much vinegar,
Right? All you gotta do is add freaking onions and doni peppers, dude. You don't need the vinegar, dude. It's already sour, dude.
Man, I just found out they sell Finideni to go. Not to go off topic too much, but yeah, they sell Finideni to go now, complete with onions. And I was like,
oh, is that the Filipino one in the glass jar?
It's a glass jar. It's like blue.
Oh,
it's like it's glass, and then it's blue. It has like a blue cover on top. I don't know who sells it, but I don't know, man.
I don't know about selling that on Guam.
Yeah, or just. I mean, it's a good like visitor takeaway.
Yeah, oh, true.
I'd rather sell them a recipe than they're like, oh, here's a recipe. Like, it's super easy.
But boy, you need the local lemon, boy.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't get that here.
Yeah.
Okay. Went off track. Sour beers. How you can tell it's sour? Bacteria. So where does infected? There it is.
Yeah.
Where does it come from? Like, so it's just it just comes from maybe yeast that's been sitting too long, or.
Well, it depends. If you're gonna sour it purposefully, then you add different bacteria that create lactic acid. That's if you want a sour beer. If you want to infect it with bacteria. But if you're gonna make a clean beer like a IPA or a stout and it tastes sour, that's a unwanted yeast that's in it and bacteria that's in the air.
So you can't just turn it into a different beer when it is.
It tastes bad, man.
Okay. Like you're trying to make a sour beer.
Like you can tell, like
rotten
you can
eggs.
really tell. Okay.
Rotten eggs.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if anyone.
Chatagüero.
Yeah, exactly. If I opened up one and it smelled like rotten eggs, my second batch ever, I was like, oh my god, it got infected.
Never tell anyone about this. And I just mentioned it.
Dump it,
dude. Yeah, I don't know. It's like, it's also like if your equipment isn't clean enough. Super hard to like if you don't use the right sanitizers and stuff like that, you know.
Right. I mean, Johnny was mentioning in the first podcast that we did that just the yeast in the air or the bacteria in the air can affect
both
your product.
Yeah.
And so that's why you're having a problem, right? Because you don't know you can't really control
Well, I brew outside, so I mean, if I'm racking or if I'm doing anything outside, and it's a windy day, man, you just mess up the brew. I can't bring my whole burner and all my keg, MacGyver stuff inside my house, my living room, and so I do what I can outside. But you know, you take the steps to kind of minimize the amount of bacteria.
Right.
Clean brewing.
Yeah. It seems super important, at least to just keep everything sterilized.
Yeah. It's you gotta clean that thing, because if you don't, and it gets, you just wasted a bunch of time, dude, just making a beer that you have to dump down the drain.
And money.
Yeah. Money too.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, once you start playing with bacteria like on purpose,
that's where the art form comes in.
No, be prepared to buy new equipment, because that thing will mess it up like crazy.
How so?
Especially like if you use Brettanomyces, like Brett, which is in most sour beers.
Google that shit. What is Brettanomyces? I don't even think we know how to spell that.
It's another yeast.
Okay.
Yeah. So
wild.
That thing will, once it gets into your equipment, it's almost impossible just to get it out of your equipment. So anything from, you can use it on your hot side, which is like boiling and stuff like that, but no one uses Brett for the hot side, right? Like, but your cold side stuff, like anything that has to be, that is kept
pretty much in the fermenter
during fermentation. But yeah, wineries too, man. Wineries, like I go to wineries and I'm like, what would happen if you got some stuff contaminated with Brett? They would just be like, we'll just burn this winery down.
Yep.
Yeah. That's how bad it is, dude. Like even if it's on your clothes, people are scared to like just walk into a winery.
Where does it come from?
It's around the air too.
Air. You can isolate it, but it's in the air.
It is. Just, is it in certain parts of the nation, or is this something that's just everywhere?
Yeah.
We're breathing in it right now.
Yeah. So if his stuff gets infected with Brett.
Yeah, so you can literally like go home with bread on your clothes,
so, like,
and fuck up your whole shit.
Big breweries like New Belgium, what they would do is they have totally different facilities if you're gonna do a clean beer versus a regular beer, and you don't wear the same clothes, or you wear like tabbies.
Go to like a definition, dude.
Like a wiki.
Yeah, like a wiki.
So a lot of the commercial breweries, they have a different, the whole different system, and sometimes a different location just for their sour beers, and the workers don't go from one to another without having to change their shoes or put on tabbies or change your clothes, because they're, you know, if you're gonna make a clean beer and it turns sour, these breweries that are commercial, you'll spend hundreds of thousands of dollars just because someone walked in with bread in their shirt from the sour factory.
What?
Yeah.
All right. Brettanomyces. Brettanomyces is a non-spore forming genus of yeast in the family. Too long to say, and is often colloquially referred to as bread. Okay, so let's go to the yeast is acetogenic, and when grown on glucose-rich media under aerobic conditions, produces large amounts of acetic acid. But Brettanomyces is important to both brewing and wine industries due to sensory compounds it produces. So you want it sometimes, then.
If you're trying to get like some like sour beer,
right?
That's when you would want it. That's the only time you would want it, probably.
So technically, you have to really separate when you're brewing a sour beer versus when you're brewing maybe a cleaner beer.
Yeah. You
can't brew them at the same time in the same facility.
You know what? There's a brewery called The Brewery. They were like the shit at one point, right? Like they were just selling a bunch of crazy.
Pull it down, bro.
They were crazy. They were like selling a bunch of crazy like 12% beers, 14% beers, and they were doing good, right? They had a membership where it was like $300 a year. People will buy them, and they probably had like 1,000 members, right? But once their brewery got infected, because they would do sour beers here and there, but I don't think they kind of kept everything separate. So a bunch of their stuff got infected. Quality just went downhill. So people are starting to complain. So they were just like, man, we got to figure out how to stop this.
Things that were already being bought, people were opening it up and like,
it was just infected. Yeah. Like, I didn't expect this type of beer, right?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, dude, I wanted like a 12-14% beer that tastes like Black Tuesday. I'm not sure, Gerard, was Black Tuesday infected at one point? They had like right? They had like
Or white chocolate. From Brewing.
white chocolate. Yeah.
The number one also was Bourbon County's. Was it 2016?
Yeah.
Man, it was. They had
Goose
to
Island.
recall that.
Yep. So anything, and it just fucks everything up, dude.
Yeah.
So the brewery, what they had to do to fix that problem was buy another building and brew, but keep all the sour beers at the other facility. So they would brew a clean beer, put it in a container that they can drive to their sour building, and then transfer it into whatever they do, barrels, fermenters, and then add the bacteria in there.
Right.
So everything had to be separate, dude.
How would wine use it? Do you know how wine?
They don't want it.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
there's some wineries that use it. I've never tasted a Brett wine before.
A sour wine?
Yeah, yeah. well,
Funky.
Funky?
yeah, like wet hay, wet grass. I'm curious to taste it. I want to taste it, dude, if anything.
Just to know.
Yeah. Does beer, the way wine ages, does beer age the same way as, or does it have sort of a lifespan before, if you drink it past this day, then you're kind of shit out of luck?
Beer and wine?
Yeah, yeah. You know how wine,
Like aging.
as wine ages, it sort of tastes better. Is that the same way that works for beer?
Some beers.
Yeah, some. It has
Some?
its peak. I think the higher the
interesting.
alcohol,
Man.
the higher the alcohol, the longer it can age, I guess, right? Or the wild beers or sour beers, those you can age as well. So it's like the more complex beers. I think anything that's hoppy, you got to drink right away.
Yep.
Okay.
Anything
so
that's
like an
not hoppy.
IPA?
Yeah. They're volatile, so a lot of the aroma will go away. But like if you're talking about like Belgian beers, like lambic beers, a lot of them, one of my bottles, the expiration date's in 2037.
Oh shit.
Yeah. At cellar temperature, but you know, it's supposed to, it depends on the beer.
Just in case. Just in case something happens.
Around sour beers, this is my Oud Broom kettle sour. It's the cheating way of souring. it's the
Oh,
safer way.
this is something you brew too?
Yeah, this is the
Okay.
safer way to sour.
What are we drinking here? This is different.
From Treehouse, I think. It's
Treehouse.
an IPA.
Okay.
Yeah. So something we brought from the States.
I love
just
this.
to kind
I
of,
love this, how we're trying different kinds of stuff. Thank you guys.
right?
Oh yeah.
Like, smell that thing, man. It's like,
This was
It's very light, but it's I'm trying to be
Hazy.
a beer connoisseur here.
I'm feeling like relaxed already. This is like my second glass, and we're only pouring like quarter of the glass, dude.
I feel like I'm turning red.
a little bit warm.
I can feel the booziness of my body.
See, drink craft beer, and you don't get bear belly, right?
Yeah.
And you don't have to buy like a 6-pack, dude. You just like buy one can and you share it with your boys.
I know my shit is going to the movie theaters. Oh,
No movie theaters are involved in
the
this.
movie theater at my living room. My living room theater. Nah.
Yeah, we don't bring any of those shooters in and mix it with our Coke in the movies. Those are only for
Or whole cans of beer.
or whole cans of beer.
And just, get the water cup.
Yep. Babe, my purse is heavy from all your beer cans.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's only 2 beers.
But the aroma on this thing is like pretty strong, dude. So it's like the person next to you will be like, "What's that, dude?
Yeah.
Orange."
Yeah.
It's like, dude.
Orange juice.
Yeah, dude. This thing is good.
So this one doesn't have any Brett. It's a sour, but there's no funk in it. I only use lactic acid, not Brett.
This one looks darker from the last one that you poured.
Yeah. I was trying to do this.
Are these like 2 different processes?
As a sour beer or as a dark beer?
I guess.
To get it sour.
I guess we cross the roads, right?
I mean, I wouldn't, if I didn't put any of the lactobacillus, the lactic bacteria or the lactic producing bacteria into it, it would have just been a regular, dark beer. But because I introduced the actual yeast or the actual bacteria into it, it soured it out. But I didn't put any bread in it, so there's no funk. It's just straight tart.
So it's just what kind of bacteria did you put in it if it wasn't Brett?
Lactobacillus. Some people use the main ones are Lactobacillus, Brettanomyces, and Pediococcus. Those are like the main funky and sour beers. But this is a Oud Broom. I try to do it more. It's like it's a Belgian Flanders style, so it's dark. It's a little more maltier. You get that malty sweetness more than the bright bready hop or bright bready malt. So it's a juxtapose.
Wow, kettle soured.
Yeah.
That's good.
Thank you.
So the thing with kettle sour, it's like
I'm sorry. Let me just disrupt you for a second. I've been really liking sour beers lately.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
That's
all
good.
about it, dude. That Fruitlands from Modern Times is
You're
my
about it,
shit,
about it.
dude. I'm like, damn, this is good. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
no, it's like sour beers. Whenever I hear like kettle soured beers, it's like I'm always looking for like baby vomit smell. yeah, because you get that thing, dude, and it
Like-
freaking stinks, dude. Like cheese, and
Swishing
shit.
baby vomit.
But this doesn't have it, dude. This is good.
I didn't use a kettle. I used a keg, so I purged
kept
it
the
with
oxygen
CO2.
away?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, because once oxygen gets into it,
So a kettle you open up. Sorry, dude. I keep disrupting.
Kettle is
you.
just pretty much a big pot that you boil your beer in.
Okay, and
So-
but you're able, like you said, it's because the keg didn't get the air to it. The kettle allows air to go into it.
yeah, if you don't seal it up or
Okay.
put like a layer of CO2 just to kind of keep oxygen out.
I
'cause
see.
This is what, like 3 days, 2 days.
3 days.
Okay.
Yeah, 3 days.
So he kept it like at a certain temperature, right, for like 3 days.
Around 85 to 90, depending on the bacteria. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's like head retention on it too, because usually kettle sours you don't have head, dude.
You know, maybe because I poured it from the keg, so it was forced carbed.
But still, it's good, dude.
I really like this. I really like how you
it's
guys
good.
are geeking out on this beer right now.
Yeah, I'm glad I can talk to somebody on Guam about this shit.
Yeah.
You know.
But kettle sour beers, I mean, I always want I always want sour beers in my taps, but a lot of sour beers take 7 to 9 months, you know, around that time to make, and sometimes it's gonna mess up.
Is
but
it because of the yeast or
It's
the
the-
bacteria?
Yeah, a lot of times it's the bacteria, and yeah,
But is
it
this
takes
already
long.
sitting inside the bottle, or is it only?
It's done already, right?
Yeah,
like
it's done
it's
already.
done doing its thing. So now you're just like holding it or like packaging it.
So pretty much like this kettle sour, I soured it in the kettle or in my keg, and then I boiled it to kill all the bacteria, and then now it's a regular clean beer, so there's no more bacteria in it. But for standard sours, or not standard, but traditional sours, they put it into their fermenter, whether it be oak barrel or
Is that why it's pretty clear, or is this considered clear?
yeah,
No?
Yeah, it's pretty
clear.
It's pretty
Yeah.
clear. I
Clarity
feel
is
like
nice.
it's pretty clear.
Yeah.
I didn't plan on making it clear, but I'm glad it did turn out clear.
Yeah.
That's the hard part, is to make it nice and clear.
Yeah, because usually you would expect a dark beer to have more of sort of a
Opaque.
clout, right?
Yeah, can't really see through.
Yeah, this is good. It's like it's not too thin, because like a lot of Berliners like this is like pretty watery. Like it has like a watery, thin taste to it. You know,
Right.
almost like you're drinking
Water.
more water sour.
Like
Yeah.
a Miller Lite or
Not like these hazy IPAs that you drink now. They're kind of like thick.
Soft.
You know.
right. So is this how a beer share goes? Like,
Yeah.
you just sit down and you taste the beers and you sort of just talk about it?
Geek out.
Yeah. We're like, hey, how'd you get that beer? I had to trade an arm and a leg or do unforgivable things for that beer. You know, things I won't tell anybody how I got
Everybody
it.
so-
ping pong and ding dang.
But I noticed beer shares with drinkers versus brewers is totally different, because I feel like if we're in a room with other non-brewers and we start geeking out, they're like, oh my god, you guys should stop talking about your shit.
Why is
already."
that?
I don't know. Just like, it feels like I don't want people to feel like they're not part of the conversation, but we want to know, like, dude, how did you do this? What did you do? You know, did you have any problems? And then I don't know. I just don't want people sometimes to be like, oh my god, these guys are just talking about this. Some people are interested in it, but
Nerds.
yeah, fucking nerds. How inappropriate. You know, no one wants to be in a conversation that they don't know what you're talking about. You know what I
I
mean?
have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Oh, like right now.
So you talk like science and shit. You know?
No, I mean, I think it's great though. It's definitely expanding my mind as to the possibilities of what beers are. I mean, think about it, guys. We grew up, the Bud family, Miller family of beers on Guam for when we were kids to kids.
Right?
To-
Like 14.
Yeah. So Sounds about right.
Yeah.
We were kids to adults, and now this sort of craft brew craze happens. I know it's not something that just started in the 2000s. I know craft beer has been around since like the 70s, right? And sort of evolved, and there was sort of legislation against it. I don't know.
Depends what your definition of craft beer is, because you can drink some 500-year-old recipe from Belgium, and to you it's craft beer, but to them it's just beer that they've made for
like tradition,
centuries.
right?
Tradition, yeah.
You just brought to mind Beer Fest. You guys ever watch Beer
Yeah.
Fest? Where the guys like
We're not
on the chair, like
Great grandpa paws.
military pressing the fucking keg.
Yep.
As he's drinking from the keg, he's like, and on a treadmill, coming on a bicycle.
Dude, I haven't watched that movie in like forever, dude.
Oh, dude, it's such a great movie. I think they're coming. That group's coming out with Super Troopers 2.
Is it already
okay,
out?
okay.
It did come out already.
I think so.
That's right.
Shame on us.
God, shame on me. Because it came out in April. Anyways,
Like straight to DVD or
yeah,
nah, that's fucked up.
yeah. It was like a couple weeks inside the theaters, you know.
Certain theaters, so, yeah.
Select theater, play it in select theaters near you.
Only on base.
Right. But yeah, dude. I mean, just going back to the whole, beer craze here on Guam. We've culture shifted here, and I think it's changed a lot. I mean, we were in the beginning of this. We were talking about kitchen lingo, and I go there and I just want to drink the shit that's not the stuff that we used to drink, right?
As kids.
As kids.
Yeah.
I mean, now just Sunday, you guys had that craft. I mean, they have the craft festival every year, right? But this was something sort of different compared to the stuff that they've had in the past, right?
Yeah. This one was crazy, man. I was just worried about like how much those ticket prices were gonna be. Like, oh man, is anyone gonna spend like 150 or 125 on some tickets, dude? You know, like it worried me. I was like, man, no one's gonna drink our stuff, dude, if we're like charging that much, right? But when you think about it, it's like the things we had to go through to get these beers here on island. No one can just go to Monkish, which is like I would say like one of the top 10. Would you say top 10 breweries right now that people are trying to get beers from?
Yep.
Is this a West Coast beer or?
Yeah, they're in Torrance, so it's a brewery in Torrance. So
I think Torrance is where the Kings, the Capriciosa is at. Anyways, go ahead. No, sorry.
So it's like,
right, one of the two.
man.
Sorry.
No, it's all right.
So they have
It's
like
the beer, dude. I mean,
right already, dude.
shit, yeah.
Which is why craft beer is so good, dude, because you don't have to drink too much of it to be good. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, Monkish is based out of Torrance, California, and they built such a crazy following on their IPAs where they have to. When they used to announce it, they would announce it a day before or 2 days before, like, hey, we're releasing this IPA. We're gonna release it on a Saturday. We only have 200 cases or whatever. People will drive all the way from San Diego, right, or whatever, just to go and line up outside the brewery the day before, and they would camp out in line in their parking lot. And then,
Like it's an iPhone.
yeah. Just like that, dude. And it was like for beer, man. Like I went one time, like I used to freak out and be like, damn, you guys do that shit? But then like I hear so many cool experiences where people are meeting each other in the parking lot, sharing beers.
So
We're like fucking losers.
Yeah, dude. So my very first experience, I went there. I was in the freaking parking lot like 4 a.m. just hanging out with a bunch of guys who drink beers. But there was this guy, dude. He was probably in his like 30s. He brought his like 4-month-old baby with him.
Oh.
And it's like cold, dude, but dude, he was changing his daughter's diapers on the street. I'm like, wow, dude, like what people do for beer, man.
This guy's down.
Dude, and it's like, you know, it's like for 4 beers, people would pay like $20-25 for it, right? And then you would only be allowed to buy 3 of those 4-packs. Before, now it's only 2 4-packs because there's not so much, right? There's not enough for everybody, so people will keep 4, trade the other 4, sell it, but they would sell it on the secondary market for like $100 for just like the 4 cans.
Damn.
But so what I was trying to get at
So
is
it's like a shoe game.
It's
too.
a beer black
Yeah.
market, man.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So what I was trying to get to is like nobody can get kegs from this brewery unless you're throwing like a big beer event, you know, like you're throwing like the top 5 beer event in the country, right? But for some reason, like we developed like a good relationship with this guy and like all the other breweries that we got kegs from. So we had to spend a lot of money, dude, because like that one keg they could have made $1,000 if they just sold it on their tap room.
Yeah.
But instead, they chose to help us out, give it to us, help educate Guam. They donated, well, whatever we had to buy for them or from them, but we had to bring that to Guam, whatever the shipping cost is on top of that, and try to sell these $150 tickets, $120 tickets for people to drink. And we're not just saying, hey, man, we have like, this gets you only 6 pours of beers, you know? Like shit, drink as much as you can of it. Drink as much as you can.
Keep refilling.
We're not gonna run out of beer. We hope you enjoy your time, you know. And then we flew out a guy from LA who's like a super experienced DJ, battle DJ, you know, like DJ Rhett. He came out to help and support us too. So imagine you got like a top world class LA DJ coming in playing music for everybody. Then we're bringing in craft beers that you can't just ask a brewery to buy.
Wow.
So we brought that too. And then we also had food that was catered. So, and we came out with these fancy glasses
And
that you can take off.
The exclusivity was there, huh?
Yeah. So if you think about it, you pay, what's an average ticket for a beer event? Like $50?
60, yeah.
Yeah, and they want to give you like 6 pours. Like here's 6 tickets. You can have 6 pours.
And that's like
And then
the
you
usual,
buy more- you
like
have to buy more
You go and
tokens.
drink some Konas. You go and drink some.
Something you can buy at the
Yeah.
store, right?
Yeah.
Like shit, who wants to do that?
That's Mo Craft, right?
Yeah.
Goose Island IPAs and shit. Yeah.
And you still got to buy your own food.
Yep.
You get a generic glass, probably like plastic cup or something, you know. And you get like 2 ounce pours. Shit, dude, nothing cool out of it, right? Nothing
Yeah.
different except just people and experience. That's it.
There people were like, no, keep going, all the way to the top. Yep.
That's why they have lines. So if you go to the ones in the States, they're stingy right now. We're gonna fill it right to the left. You know, not like here. They're like, well, they won't fill it all the way up for you, but you get to go back as much as you want.
Yeah.
I always told people at the event, they're like, oh no, 125, 175 was pretty cheap. I'm like, you know, all the beers that are on the counter at this very second is worth more than what you drank right now is worth more than your ticket. So I had to kind of explain to them that these beers are rare, not only the ones in the kegs.
And the days you have to possibly spend
Yeah.
to just drink 4 cans.
Yeah.
That too, time.
Especially coming from Guam, it's like if you wanted to try a monkish beer, like how would you get it? Because you have nothing really to trade for that beer.
Mules.
People have like other stuff to trade for it, right? But here on Guam, like shit.
Yeah.
How would you get that unless you're willing to spend like $100 and
Here's
then
my-
ship it too?
I give you 50 big waves.
It costs the same amount.
And I got some different Denancy that you can. You haven't tried this yet.
We're bartering.
Here, take my pepper plant and my mango tree.
Hey, you see that coconut candy Charles uses for a stout? I'll give you that coconut candy.
Dude, people would, right? Dude, this is the one you use for a stout, bro. Dude, people would, bro.
Look at it, it's even in a glass case.
Yeah, bro.
This is the exact coconut he was like grating and sweating at the same time.
Dude, you got to put that guy's sweat in that thing, dude. But yeah, dude, like we did a beer like that. We did coconut candy stout for a brewery in Miami, and it was exclusive to us. We didn't sell it to the public, but we released it at this one brewery's anniversary. Jay Wakefield, he had like an event. We poured it at the VIP booth. We didn't sell it, but we raffled it. So I think they sold how many tickets? 12,000? No, like how many tickets did they sell? Because they were only able to raffle off like 12 bottles of that beer. So it was a stout, which is 17%, aged in Willet barrels. Or no, not Willet, Antique 107 barrels, which is
Antique Cocoa.
yeah, Antique Cocoa.
It's like $800
for the blue.
For the blue, yeah.
Antique blue. But so we raffled off 12 bottles. How many tickets did they sell at the event? I think like 30,000, if I'm not mistaken.
30,000?
They had to run to.
How do you sell 30,000 tickets?
How many people were there?
What the fuck?
Dude, people had like
Wake Fest?
Yeah, dude.
Oh, nice.
So they raffle them off. So
Okay, so it was a really, really big event.
it's a big event, dude.
Okay.
And this guy makes like the best stouts, and he's one of the top 3 guys who makes the best stouts in the country, right? In the world, then. Yeah, in the world, because I vouch for that shit. But so we did a beer with them, 17% aged in antique Weller 107. We put coconut candy in there, but we also put 2 other kinds of coconut. We put young coconut, toasted coconut, and then coconut candy. And shit, people bought 30,000 tickets, and then the 12 people that got that bottle, there was one guy who went up to a winner and he's like, "Hey man, I'll buy that bottle from you." Then the guy's like, "Dude, $1,000 right now." Dude, I whipped out his cash and paid like $1,000 for that bottle.
Wow.
And then another guy put it on like those My Beer Cellar where you can buy beers or whatever.
My Beer Collectibles?
Yeah, there you go. $1,300, right? $1,300, dude. One bottle like this size, dude.
Oh shit, you brewed.
Yeah.
And you just were like, coconut candy.
but Jeremy from Guam Grill and Nate Doyle, like they all like did their freaking they just fucking try to make coconut candy as fast as they can so that they can fly to Miami just to put it in that.
What?
Damn.
Yeah, a week before they bottled it. So yeah, it's crazy, man.
Did it go through the same mixing process as the Faja beer, where you're just like really shaking the shit up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because it was just like a last minute thing too.
And it sold for that much?
1,300, dude. And then we did another one called Antique Blue, which we put vanilla, toasted Japanese chocolate, the Royce,
Yeah.
and then a blue bottle coffee. It was Jamaican Blue Mountain coffee. We did that. That one sold for $800.
Damn.
Like for that one bottle. So we're like, fuck, dude, we got to do that shit and make it ourselves already, bro. Like we need to make that money too, man. You know?
Right.
But now you have the know-how, pretty much.
Yeah.
Right. You're the recipe holder. You're like the key maker.
I don't want to bust out my stout anymore, man.
No, I had some stouts that I was not proud of, dude. And then also like there were stouts that I had that were good for like a year, and then the second year was just like it went down.
So does that kind of like boost your confidence as to what you're able to brew and the possibilities of
a little bit
how you can sell in the United States?
A little bit, but at the same time too, it's pressure, you know.
Right.
Like a lot of people like that beer. A lot of people that I know tried my stouts. I did it on a homebrew scale, which is, you know, like I'm very happy for them. But the bigger scale that I did were collaborations with a well-known brewery. So it's his name that I'm kind of like riding on. But once they tasted that beer, they were just like, holy shit, this Chamorro coconut candy. Like, damn, dude, what is that?
It gave you that credibility.
Yeah. So now we started a brand with Jay Wickfield. So now we're just like, shit. Now that we're doing our own shit, we got to kind of live up to that, you know? So now people are expecting us to be making beers just as good.
Right.
So now there's pressure, and I'm just like, fuck, dude, if I don't like it, I'll dump it, you know?
Yeah.
But that beer that we brought here, that Faja beer, that was my first batch on a bigger scale by myself. So shit, so far I've been happy with it, you know?
But you have to remember, right? You're sending it to the palate of people who aren't so familiar with with how craft is.
But it was
supposed to
crazy
taste,
because
right?
I was walking around and everyone I knew that I was talking to had Faja in their cup. Like the line, they were the only brewery or only booth there that had a pretty much a line every time they're gonna open. Before he even tapped the keg, there's a freaking line of people there. But every time I walked around, everyone was just raving, "Hey, did you try the Faja? Did you try the Faja?"
Yeah.
It was we as your guinea pigs, we approve.
See, I didn't get no soy sauce comment.
No soy sauce. It was
Hey.
nice, man.
Tanaktak.
Tanaktak was lemon finadini.
It's like, damn, what's
Might
that
taste
Tanaktak
good.
beer?
You know, I did have a sour that has so much acetic acid, it tastes like pure vinegar. You couldn't even stomach it. But I was like, man, maybe if I soak some mango in this and make it like a beer, pickled beer, because there is the same as acid that's in vinegar.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe if I soak mango in that acetic beer,
Right.
and maybe it'll be good. I don't know.
I don't know. It's
I'll let you
almost
try
like
it out.
pickling. It's almost like pickling mango in tuba, though, right? It almost gives when you pickle mango in tuba. It's very
I've never tried that.
dude. It's I don't know. I'm not a big tuba fan, or a pickled mango tuba fan. Have you tried it? Have you guys tried it?
Oh, Banacli tuba, the vinegar tuba.
Yeah, the
sweet
vinegar.
tuba.
Yeah, the
Oh,
vinegar tuba, dude. It's
funky.
I don't know. It's funky to me. It's really funky.
It's like
That's
apple cider.
yeah.
It's like fermented with like wild yeast, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, so you're tasting it like, whoa. It's like you can feel the pickle mango coming out of your nose. You're like breathing it out, you know?
Dude, the acid, dude, right?
Never mind, I'm not gonna do that.
Go get the IPA, the 7% one.
Crowler.
Yeah. So we'll try one of mine.
Cool.
I want to finish up your stash.
No, man, bro. I made sure I put some aside.
No, but dude, this is good, dude. There's none of that off
Matt,
flavor that I've been looking for.
You want to try some of
Thanks.
this? Yeah.
It's like
Oh,
that's the
man.
thing I always look for.
You know what? Okay. Ever since I first saw your cans, dude, I really like the minimalism that you place on your.
This
on your
is
can.
really
I mean, that's really that's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
This is
Very basic.
it's all you need to know. 7.1.
Hey, dude, I don't know if I'm gonna get lots from that.
But just
Sketchy.
that, I mean, it's so attractive.
Yeah.
It's actually very pretty. You
Like
know?
subtle,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
busy. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's because, that's the kind of
Even
style
the color,
we go for.
the color tone too. It's almost
Very soft. right?
Yeah. It's borderline pastel like.
Yeah. Just because, we just don't want like an in-your-face design, very loud. I like
Right.
subtle,
Like a big-
clean.
Like
I-
a big
dude.
Chamorro chief, like on the laddie stove. Wait, we can't talk.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Those are fighting words.
Hold on.
Those are fighting words.
we cannot say on laddie stones, man. That's
Wait till we bust out our stouts. It'll probably be like the loud labels.
yeah.
We go for different things. Like for IPAs, you want something very inviting, right? Like
Yeah, for
attractive, where you're just like, oh, that looks nice. Like,
Ironically, when I go to a beer shop, the most colorful ones, I don't really look at. I look at the more clear. I don't know. It's funny how that works. I look for the cleaner ones. That one looks good because I can read it. I can actually read
The cleaner labels.
the cleaner labels. yeah.
Okay, and so we're about to drink.
Another beer.
Gosh, if you're looking at this can's bigger than normal. So
yeah, it's like a Foster's size, right? So since we have like a sour beer in our glass, I'm just gonna pour like a little bit,
Sure.
just so we can rinse off a bit.
Sure. And if you don't know what Foster's is, she's too young for you, bro.
So I just pour like just this much whenever I go to bottle
Okay.
share or a beer share. I just kind of change the glass and swirl it with the beer, and I'll just drink it instead of dumping it.
okay.
But what I'm doing is just rinsing off the sour beer off of it. You know,
Same thing with like something a super off-putting beer, like if you have a stout and then you taste like an IPA.
Yeah.
You want to taste the IPA and the hops. You don't want to taste that dark malt because that's not what you want. You know, it's beer etiquette.
Right.
So a lot of places like shares they'll have like pitchers of water that you rinse it out, and so you can try the beer for what it is, not a whole mix of everything else.
Is
that
there a
you've been
certain
drinking.
way that you should be drinking it? Like, should you be breathing as you're drinking, or is it like?
I usually
how
like
much
to-
of the aromas are you trying to take in?
I like to just smell it first, just to be like, oh, okay, what kind of hops are you using? Because you know, like, if anything, the brewer put like a bunch of money into the aroma part, you know.
Right.
So
This is really fun. I've never been to a beer. I feel like I'm doing a beer share kind
Right.
of deal, dude. This is really cool.
Is New Zealand hops?
no, this is all American hops.
American.
This is like not even anything crazy like Citra or anything. This is just Centennial and CTZ. Yeah,
Light too, huh?
yeah.
Wow.
It tastes light.
It tastes light, but it's
7%.
7%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the aroma, we put like 44 pounds of hops in it, you know. So in a 450 gallon batch, we put 44 pounds of hops.
I use 12 ounce of hop.
Is it because of the availability? Because we talked on the last podcast that you know, like the availability of ingredients for you is your biggest struggle.
Well, I try not. I mean, it's everything's about money too. If you can afford to buy that amount of hops to ship all the way to Guam, then cool. But if not, then again, if you want to go to style, you're gonna have to fork out a little bit more. If you want to pale ale, you can get away with a couple ounces of hops. But if you want some of that hazy stuff that we're drinking, you need to put a little bit more than just a couple ounces.
Right.
So
this is not considered a hazy beer.
It's I would say this unfiltered.
Yeah,
like,
you can see
you can
a little bit of
kind of see the
grit.
clarity. Yeah, because I'm not trying to go for that hazy stuff because like there's too many people saturating the market with it just because that word hazy, people are gonna buy it.
Yeah.
But like I like hazy beers. I just don't like to do it on purpose. We're just like, hey man, like I'm gonna put a bunch of shit in it just to kind of get that haze, you know. I like to go for taste first, if anything, because I've tasted a bunch of hazy beers that tasted like
vegetable.
Yeah, or like too oaty, like too much like oatmeal, kind of like bread.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I want to be able to taste the hop flavor. I want to taste the malt. I want crispiness, not too much full body. Like I like balance, dude. Like to me, I feel like this is a Hill Farmstead type beer, dude. And I haven't even tried this beer before I left to Guam, so this was still fermenting when it came here. So or kegging or carbonating or whatever. But
how long did it take to get here?
This he freaking put it in the plane with him, dude. He took like
that was your check-in baggage.
He brought in like the legal limit of 1 gallon.
Yeah, because we never ever bring in more than 1 gallon of beer.
You know, it's the law. So 1 gallon, you just ship the rest. But yeah, dude, I'm proud of this, dude. I tried it over there.
Dude,
at the beer
it tastes really good. It doesn't taste like a 7% beer.
Yeah. And I didn't. The hops that I used was just something you can easily find. There's no shortage of the hops. They're probably like $8 a pound, wholesale cost for brewers. But if I was gonna put something like Galaxy in here, that would be like $32 a pound. Yeah, dude. And everyone goes for those crazy hops that are like grapefruit, citrus. I was just like, shit, let me use some old school hops that used to be cool 10 years ago, you know?
Man.
And shit, dude.
I don't know what you did to treat this, but like that stone fruity's coming out. I really like it a lot.
Right?
Yeah.
Stone fruit.
Kinda
Do you say stone
like
fruit?
a apricot, mango.
Okay.
And then mouthfeel is very not too overly
like
carbonated. It's like
it's definitely not too carbonated. It's not. It doesn't make me go.
Right. It's like very low carb. It's like I know exactly, dude.
I'm literally like breaking out all the layman shit for you guys. Just trying to break it down for the listeners. Like,
is that?
Yeah.
You start burping and shit. Like, damn.
But it does remind you of drinking at a beach. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know, I was trying to. I've always tried to figure out what body meant to when you're drinking beer.
Yeah.
But I never really understood it until I started drinking, at least with you guys, the different styles of beer. I know it hasn't really changed from a really light one to a really dark one, but
yeah,
you can sort of tell the difference the way the alcohol hits your mouth as you guys are talking about it. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess are you talking about like dryness?
Yeah, I mean,
like very spritzy, right? Like
yeah, and it feels light in my mouth, almost like
it's like soft.
yeah, it's like
delicate,
soft. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Very delicate.
Yeah,
like white wine.
When you're drinking a stout, it's like
heavy.
Whoa, that shit's in my mouth. Like,
it's like a
keep it
white
close.
wine where it's kind of more crispy.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Right, I'm getting it. Slowly. Our next conversation, I promise, dude, I'll be like, oh yeah, fuck it.
I already know. Man, you did your research for the BJ one, but you didn't do your research for this one.
Oh, man, dude. I had to do my research for the BJ.
I know,
one.
man. That's a
Yeah, so I interviewed BJ Penn today.
Yeah.
And holy shit, it like happened within hours, and I was like, for real, like now? Okay,
Yeah.
okay, we're doing this.
Yeah,
This is happening.
I just saw him at Coffee Slut when I was picking up some, and I borrowed their kegs too for this faja. But yeah, I saw Melker with BJ, and I was like, oh shit, Let me fucking take a picture, put it on my IG.
You don't see
Yeah.
that every day.
For
On
reals,
Guam.
dude, for reals. And apparently this is like his 3rd time here. So I was like,
Yeah.
I didn't even
I
know.
felt like this is your 1st time here.
Yeah, me too.
You know how many people look up to you on this island?
Right.
Come to a fiesta.
Yeah. You're like the guy, the islander. I was telling him during the podcast, I said, before Frank, before John Tuck, before John Douglas Rages, it was BJ Penn
Yeah.
for everyone. That's how every single islander connected themselves to the UFC, to MMA, sort of that stage, right? Anyways, listen to the podcast.
Yeah.
Sorry, everybody. I didn't mean to ruin it for you.
No, that is cool, man. I like how he's scrappy, bro, because that just shows, like, it does show, like, how people from the islands scrap.
Yeah, dude.
You know?
And a lot of what he had to say, too, is very revealing about, like, the heart of people who come from here.
Yeah.
You know, and the heart we still have, dude. Just doing this podcast and meeting all the people that I'm meeting, there's some serious heart going on here as far as believing in each other, whether you're abroad or on island, the fact that we can make it, right? Not just as Chamorros, but
Look at
as
us.
people that can,
Yeah.
right. You guys are in 2 different lands, but
Yeah.
now you guys can communicate on this sort of language.
Yeah.
I always ask this guy, hey, man, I have a problem with this. Need some help.
I was the same way, man. That's the only way you can get better, too.
Yeah.
If you can't figure it out, find someone who can, you know?
How did you guys sort of link up and cross paths in your, I guess, in the beer world?
I don't remember.
I think first was probably, like, Instagram, right? Yeah, probably Instagram. And then from there, I came out last year for a beer event, like a small beer event.
What
and
it
then-
was is that you needed to borrow the
like a-
inline.
And I knew you homebrewed.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's how we met. And then he tried some of my beers.
But
So
this is his first time trying my beers, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you selling by then?
no, I was just like making it still homebrew style. But you know, like I did collabs here and there. So, but whatever I brought here to Guam was still kind of like homebrew. So nothing bigger than 30 gallons that I would make at a time.
Yeah, to me, I'm like, I make 5 gallons.
The size
30.
of this room, dude.
Yeah, dude, all the boys will drink that thing up, dude. You know.
Yeah. I bet people taking home, they have their secret growlers like, hey, where's Charles?
I'm like, man, I'm supposed to be selling beer.
Now we're just sharing beers.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
when did you know you were ready to? I know I asked that earlier. You know, like when did you? I mean, when you came here, when you guys met, there wasn't you weren't already selling, but you were collabing with people to the point where, yeah, now you have the confidence that you can brew beer, but still not sell.
Yeah, because man, the whole process is crazy. Like, you need licenses, right? So in order for you to apply for a license, you need a building, like a building to base it off of. So
And it can't just be your home address, PO
No.
box.
no, it has to be like where you're gonna store and sell the beers out of, right? Or and make it too. So I think this was like a whole 2-year process, dude. Where we're looking in Orange County, couldn't find anything available, right? Like we found a spot, and they're just like, "Hey, you guys gonna do a brewery? Okay, we need $100,000 in deposit before you can sign your lease, right?" And we're looking for buildings that are like $1 a square foot because we're looking for 6,000 square feet, you know. But it's crazy out there. Like no one wants a brewery. Like all these landlords, they don't want a brewery to be there, right? Because they can lease out to offices where they don't need to do construction. It's just easy. They're just like desks, tables, internet, and that's it. And
Right.
But for us, we gotta like break down the floors, get all these coatings and all that, and it's just a headache for the landlords. And if they're just like, what if you guys don't make it? What if you guys go out of business before your lease ends? So they're just like, hey man, we need $100,000 deposit. But so
That's quite the insurance there.
right. So we finally found a place
That's
in
first
LA.
month's rent.
Yeah, so we finally found a place in LA that was already open, but they didn't want to deal with the beer anymore. They're just like, hey, we don't want to do this brewery thing because there's all these breweries popping up all over the place, and anyone thinks they can just do it,
Yeah.
you know. So I got a lot riding on this, and I think my beers are going to hold customers and want people to drink my beers. And if not, then
so now you're in a brick and mortar now.
Yeah. So now we do have a place to make beers out of. We're kind of like sharing a spot. We're kind of writing on their license while we're applying for ours, because it takes about 6 months to get approved. So we're just like, hey, let us use your license. We'll do a DBA under our name, just so we can start making and selling beers already.
Right.
So that's what we're doing, selling some beers, making it. And the first thing we wanted to do is, with our first beers, we wanted to make sure Guam had some good beers to kind of drink, you know, because, you know, like, I come to Guam often. There's nothing good to drink here, right? Or there is, but there could be better.
Well, as a connoisseur.
Yeah, you know, and I'm not a snob or anything. Shit, I'll still drink Heinekens, you know?
Right.
Like, but when I want something better, I want something better, dude.
Yeah.
So, we just sent it to the boys first, you know, make sure we take care of our own people. We have a lot of friends and family here too, and it's not so easy for them to get it. So the best thing we could do is send it to them. Since there's a lot of good beers in California to drink already, they can wait a little bit before we start making our own, or like selling where we're at, you know?
Right.
So
so the main market is to hit here first before sort of bring up the palate.
Yeah. So we want to kind of make sure everybody's educated over here.
Yeah.
Because, like, hey, man, get ready, because we're going to start sending you some, like, cooler shit, you know? So, and, you know, like, develop everyone's palates here. Say, you know, like,
it's important. It's important. I mean, just as the British, the British had to, so before they introduced Bob Marley to the United States, so Bob Marley went from Jamaica to England, and then England had the rock and roll sound, the 50s rock and roll sound from the Beatles and stuff like that. But before they brought it to the United States, they had to get the palate of the United States. They had to get Bob Marley's music to the palate of the United States. And that was American rock and roll. So in the Legend album, they actually put in American rock and roll licks into the album, so that when they heard Bob Marley, it was already a familiar sound.
Yeah. Nothing like too different, right?
But it kind of works out though, because the craft beer phase has been, or craze has been happening here on Guam. People are drinking more craft now. You guys, the palate's sort of been introduced.
Yeah.
Now the easy part.
I was about to say that, because
right?
from living here, at least with the people that I drink with, they already have the palate, whether it be beer geeks or just the regular guys who like to drink Heineken. They're already used to the craft beer palate because of what the guys bring out, what they can buy at foodies, pretty much. So they were already introduced. So Charles didn't really need to do that, because people already knew what the beers were. They already knew what to expect. Like, oh, this is IPA. You know, if you ask someone 10 years ago, oh, this is IPA, they're like, what the hell is this? But, you know, all the Chelus and Prims, they're like oh, I know this is IPA. Yeah, solid.
Is that like a Bud Ice?
Yeah. Right. Natural ice.
Perfect timing, though, man. Perfect timing.
Yeah. And, you know, like, shit, we still got to make beers that are not super over the top, right? Because out here, like, still 12% stouts are still kind of crazy. Yeah. You know, for people's palates, because they're so used to drinking something light. So we made something like Chasing Sunset, right? Which is like a session ale, like session beer, which is like 4.5 to 5%. Not sure what the ABV is, but I know it's something low like that. But that's something we made to kind of reach out to the Budweiser drinkers and lagers, like Miller, Budweiser.
Right.
But nothing bitter, something that's easy to drink, very bright and spritzy and very carbonated, right? Because they like that. So, you know, I can barbecue and roast this pig for.
Dude, this beer doesn't get warm, bro.
It just gets better.
But they don't have a koozie for that big can, bro. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, dude. So that's crazy, man.
It's hard to please everyone, though.
It is.
You know,
it is, dude. And I think that's with every craft here on Guam. You know, whether it comes to music, this fucking podcast.
Yeah.
You know, digital media. You can't please
make everybody happy.
Yeah, right? Dude. And I think I think though that the mindset is changing, right? The culture shift in literally everything.
Yeah.
Everything. And people are freaking out like, oh my God, we're losing our culture. But no, we're not. We're in the new culture now. Yeah, the old culture and everything that was in the past, it transferred, but it didn't stay the same. Because listen to the music now, you know? Look at the art you see now. You're not only seeing laddie stones and coconut trees and landscapes. Dude, you're seeing intricate art. You're seeing abstract. You're seeing a lot of different kinds of stuff. And then and that'll go straight towards beer.
Right? Yep.
Yeah. So it's a cultural shift. People will end up drinking it. It'll be on a smaller scale because Guam is 160 large, but people come and go, people come and go, people come and go. People go to the States, people come back. We're always going to get that transfer of knowledge coming back into here.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
You know, I watched this documentary about, at least in California, the breweries out there. It said there is a bubble that's growing, and will the bubble pop as far as craft beer scene? At least they were talking about California because that's what the documentary was about.
Do they think it's growing too large?
I think it's growing too large. I think so. I think there's just way too many people think they can make money off of their home brews, but nothing. They're not executing anything like more than mundane, you know, something mediocre. All they're releasing is something mediocre, like, oh, this is a beer that I learned how to make, and it's just very basic and typical, you know.
Instructional beer.
Yeah, and maybe like they'll be cool. They'll keep the lights on because I don't see a lot of craft breweries going out of business. So they're sustaining. They're probably sustaining by like their local culture, right? So I think that's all it is now. There's like a lot of breweries popping up all over the place, and the only ones that are keeping the lights on there is just
quality.
You know, like it's just easy to drink, or like something that it's not terrible, but it's enough to keep the locals coming and drinking their shit, you know. But if you want to be like crazy and blow up, and you just got to do something different, you know.
Right. Whether it's marketing or
maybe even just
different kind of beer.
Yeah, or just make something that's gonna freaking get people like chronic for your shit. You know?
A following really helps.
Like, hey, let me steal my dad's Rolex and trade for that beer.
I'm sure people have the whales part.
Dude, I'll
Beer's
trade,
so good it makes you think it's crack.
I'll trade you my land for that.
No.
I'm like, dude, I got a case, bro. Where's your land?
Yeah, you're definitely. I mean, dude, you guys are definitely bringing in the new culture, right? I mean, with you being a local brewer, but being from the States. I mean, living out in the States, and then you being a homegrown brewer, trying to figure out the ropes and trying to actually be in a niche space, right? Because it's a niche space, but it's not really because it's not really non-existent, right?
Well, there's nothing stopping from some people with money, especially on Guam, to bring in people with money on Guam to bring a brewer from the States who's, you know, veteran brewer. I have the money, I have the brewer, I have the space. Let's open up a brewery on Guam.
Yeah.
You know, that might come about in the next year or two. You know.
But do you think that's something that would help you?
Well, I'm trying to stay positive and be like, okay, yeah, there's good beer in Guam, thank God, because everyone needs good beer, you know what I mean? But now it's making me think about how I'm gonna differentiate myself from them, you know. Like they got the money, they got the equipment, they got the know-how, they got the brewers, they got everything to just blow up. But that's where the people who are trying to come up, that's our difficulty. That's the problem we're having, is like, how are we going to compete against these big guys? And I'm sure Charles has the same problem or same issue in the States, you know.
Because now you're a fish in a big pond, with many fish, right?
It's
and
scary,
and that's the problem. It's a pond, right?
Yeah, but you know what? Like the thing about California, there's not a lot of breweries making like crazy shit, you know.
Yeah,
like, they're just making beers to sell, and they're just making like very basic beers that are just like, okay, this will sell.
It's
this
not
will
a
sell.
fucking coconut candy,
Right?
style, right?
I mean, like, there's no one that's gonna do anything different. I think they spent so much money into their equipment. They're just like invested
Is
like
that-
crazy.
Is that sort of the advantage that you see, like going into it being in such a big pond?
Yeah, only because we're renting out a spot right now while we're still looking for our own perfect location. But what we want to do is stop waiting and make beers already, you know, just because, shit, I think we've been shopping around for a location like 2 years already. But all these breweries that are popping up, like they got investors, shit, they got like guys who are spending like $1 million to get that place with equipment and everything, you know. And we're just like, man, I don't know if I'm willing to lose $1 million, dude. Like, if we don't do too well, you know. So,
Yeah, that would be a shitty situation.
yeah, and especially with all these breweries popping up now, it's like I'm tasting these new breweries. I'm just like, man, their beer tastes like shit, or it just tastes like everybody else.
More
I'm
of
like,
the same. Yeah.
Just
yeah.
a different label, different bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, dang, dude, like, wait till. I wish everybody else can try the beers that I make, you know, just because I've got so much good reviews. I got some confidence in my beers, and I know it'll do well. So it's like, I need to hurry up and get it out there, dude.
Are you trying to go global?
You know, not yet. Like, it's gonna be hard to do that without like a bunch of money. But first, we want to take care of
Locals first.
locals first, and California locals. You know, just
Right.
because you know, they've been supporting me from like shit day one, since like the first boys tried our shit. You know, and then we started sending a bunch of beers to our boys here, and they're just like, dang, what is that shit? I'm just like, hey, just home brews that I'm working on. Gotta get it out there.
Yeah, you know, just something to do on the side. No big.
Right.
Last minute.
It's like, hey.
It's a last minute brew, bro.
So what's this one?
So this beer that I just opened right now, it's a double IPA. It's like more maltier. This one I use like the crazy hops that everyone's looking for, right?
More
The
body.
cheater hops.
More, yeah, cheater hops, dude, for sure. It's like Mosaic, Citra, and Simcoe.
But they're so good still.
But this is like a 8.5% beer.
I'm only drinking a quarter glass of these things and I'm already feeling 8.5 right
Mosaic
now.
and Simcoe are one of my favorites.
So this is like,
Holy cow. Someone order Vons, please.
Bro, this is
Bring some fried
just
chicken
the
here,
smell of
bro.
it.
I'm
is
hungry.
freaking-
so this is based off of
Oh my god.
Jungle Juice. So we sent a
Okay.
beer called Jungle Juice.
Right. I'm familiar. I drank it and I was like, oh my gosh, this is a very thick IPA. Cause I've drank IPAs, but
Oh my god.
you know, it was very different for me when I first tried it. It was almost like the Catch a Fire album when I first heard it. I was like, whoa, what is this?
Yeah.
It was like,
That's what this is to me
Okay,
right now.
okay,
I'm
okay.
like, oh my god.
Yeah, dude. So
I don't know how you treat your hops, man, but even the last one and this one, I was like, man, I brewed with this, but I have not come out with this aroma and taste. Like,
yeah, it's like,
wow.
so this is
okay.
I don't even know if we have a name for this yet. Well, what is it? Is it like Figo? Is it Figo?
Oh, yeah.
So because I left, and I think this is right when it was done, and I'm not I don't have that creative side of coming up with names and stuff, right? So we got to get a bunch of boys to just come up with stuff. But
Gerard came up with that.
I think Bear did.
Oh, okay.
Figo. But yeah, dude.
Wow.
I'm proud of this. Is like based off of Jungle Juice, but I kind of tweaked it a little bit just to kind of like, you know, just kind of change it up, because I think Jungle Juice was a little bit more bitter to me. So I was like it's good.
This is definitely different from the Jungle Juice.
Yeah, this one's less bitter,
Yeah.
more sweet. Proud of it. The aroma is still there.
God.
The aroma is the
This
same.
is really good.
How red am I right now?
And then like,
You got that Asian glow.
I got that Asian glow going on right now, dude. These beers are really good. Fuck.
yeah, and see, like, look at that color, dude. Like, it holds the
Yeah, put it
Light-
on
the light
Put it on
will.
me,
Yeah.
Matt.
It holds the light pretty well.
it holds that shit. Hell yeah.
Oh, put it on them. Put it on them. It's better.
Ah, shit, my face just ruins this thing.
no.
I got the face for radio.
It was definitely my face.
That's exactly what I said. Have a face for radio. This is really good. Wow.
But yeah, man, it's like it's not super hazy. It's not like
yeah.
It's just very faint, you know. Like because I'm not trying to chase the haze chaser, you know. This is just more like balance. I'm looking for balance. And for 8.5%, this doesn't have that boozy taste.
It doesn't, dude.
No.
It doesn't. I was expecting it to be heavier.
It's a creeper.
Yeah.
Try it out,
Because
G.
definitely the jungle juice is very heavy compared to this.
Yeah, this thing is dangerous, dude. You drink it, you're like freak.
Dude, these are really good, dude.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, for being the percentage that they are, yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah, hopefully we can get a consistent flow of beer supply coming out here, you know, because shit, last thing we need is like a bunch of locals from California to try to be like, hey dude, why don't you just freaking sell it to us first? We would definitely make more money if we sold it to like the locals in LA first, but you know, we don't want everyone fiending for beer here too.
Yeah.
People do fiend here for beer.
Right?
More than we'd like them to. But it's definitely, I mean,
Really good, man.
yeah, man.
Thanks, dude.
I feel like all the beers we drank tonight was...
Right? Yeah, dude.
Gosh.
I'm glad we had a sour because I was kind of getting
Just a couple
tired of-
hours ago. See, I still get. Sorry, the picture's loading.
Did
but
you have some of
I,
this, man?
I still get pictures of people freaking posting of like, look what I'm drinking. You know what I mean?
Nah, that's cool, man.
Up to now, man. And my random chats like, oh yeah, I got. Did you see this at Foodies or whatever? And they're just like raving about it, man.
I mean, it drives me, dude. You know, like every time I get like good feedback from it, like it just pushes me to do more. You know, like because I'm only gonna keep making beer if you guys continue to drink it. You know, shit. If I'm only making it for myself, shit, I'll just go somewhere else and buy it because it's a lot cheaper just to buy beer than make beer. You know.
Not here. No, at least good craft beer because
Yeah.
it's so hard to get. Besides what we can have on island, people have meals. Hey, are you going off island? Can you bring me back beer? Oh, that's the number one thing.
Yeah.
Oh, so many people are like, hey, you're going off island for a week. Dude, can you bring me back beer?
Yeah, I think the
So
closest
many
thing we
people.
have to a brewery right now is the one in Saipan, right?
I've seen that. Yeah, Saipan Brewing.
Yeah.
I haven't tried their
Yeah,
stuff.
I never
though, but
tried any of their stuff yet.
They're
It's kinda- I wonder how they're doing. Like I know they're still in business, but like it's just Guam is so expensive to make stuff, right? Like to do stuff
To
because
do anything.
yeah. So imagine just sending grains to Saipan. How much do they make after making the beer?
Right.
So
But I think their custom laws are a little bit different. I don't know I think they get it from like China.
direct, you can just get it direct.
Either direct or I think they have a third party in China, because you know their borders are more open than ours, so they can get stuff from Japan and China. no problem.
Right.
Shit.
Does that mean lesser quality?
No. It's just
Not
probably,
necessarily.
Yeah, no, I think it's like maybe I don't know anyone in California or in the States that would buy Chinese grain.
Right.
I don't know how well that shit would do. I'm curious to try it out, and if it's good, shit, open up one here. In Guam.
but more how do you say that during the shipping process of bad bacteria getting into your
if it's just grain, it's okay because
It'll boil out.
Yeah, it naturally has bacteria. You can make sour beer by throwing a handful of grain into some post-boil beer or wort.
That's what I used to do before I started buying bacteria in the vial in the tube. I used to just throw about half a pound of crushed grain or uncrushed grain and just throw it into the kettle and let it sour. But there's so much risk because there's a couple. Yeah, there's
Might smell like baby diaper.
dude. There's a lot of times it smell like that.
Some baby vomit, dude.
Yeah. It's like, but I'll play it safe and just order from a commercial lab.
It's like your hands are all over it. Like,
Yeah.
dude.
is your ease to God, these beers are
Your
getting
ease
to
to
me.
ease.
Right?
Ease to ease.
Check it.
Yeah, check, mic check, 1, 2. Is it easy for you to get product or ingredients?
Yeah, in California, because So I'm in. So we're based out of LA. The suppliers are in Oceanside, which is just like an hour and a half away.
Damn. Yeah.
Hour.
Fuck.
Right. Yeah. About an hour.
What are you dealing with?
I have no distributors.
Yeah.
Like
So
in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
3 weeks in the mail.
No, maybe like a week and a half. But then again, for 50 pounds of grain, that's like $106 shipping. Damn. Unless, I know if I was a home brewer in the States, you could just go to your home brew shop and spend zero money on shipping.
Right.
So
And $3 on gas.
and $3 in gas. Yeah, pretty much. That's why I mean it sucks because people in Guam don't want to spend as much money as I would want to charge just for not even like work. Just if I were to charge them from what shipping and ingredients cost, it would be an arm and a leg.
Yeah, a craft beer made here on Guam would definitely be more expensive.
Yeah.
like, check
So-
this. Like, would you? How much would you pay for this? Like a full pint of this? Would you pay like $10 for it, knowing that it's 8.5%?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like you wouldn't even need more than a glass and a half or
No,
something,
you
dude,
wouldn't.
to
No.
feel good, you know.
Yeah.
So
I mean, we've had 4 of these quarter glasses.
right. And you know what, like, dude,
I feel way better than I thought I was gonna feel. Oh.
it's expensive to make this
rolling.
beer because I put like 66 pounds of
Hops.
cheater hops,
Oh.
like 66 pounds of cheater hops, which is
Jesus.
like $15 a
Even the
pound.
taste is good. Damn.
And look, dude, it's kind of warm, dude, and it tastes freaking good. Like
Yeah.
there's no like sweat coming out of it.
It
Like,
actually tastes good warm.
yeah, it does.
Wow.
So that's the thing with craft beer too, man. Like you drink a lager, you have to drink that thing before it gets warm, you know, because it'll get flat. It'll taste watery, like warm, dirty water.
Yeah, it's like
But like something you just don't want to drink, right?
right. It's like putting your mouth under the rain gutter on a warm, hot day.
So
Like, dude,
I have a question though. Are you gonna stay with your barrel brew house? Or you
15.
Yeah.
We do 15 barrels, which is like 450 gallons. Yeah,
That's a lot of
You're gonna
beer,
stay with that?
dude.
yeah.
For now?
And
Yeah.
you get rid of all of that before you
No.
have to.
Well, we haven't announced our brewery yet.
Okay.
Like, we're gonna do a soft opening when I get back. So that's when we're planning it. We're planning it sometime in August in El Segundo, which is where our brewery is at. But
Master Random exclusive.
yeah,
I always do that. Sorry.
but yeah. So we basically just started putting beers on tap, but we haven't announced where we're located at.
Mm-hmm.
So people are kind of like, man, this is like the most like confusing brewery out there. And then like they're like, yeah, man, like I looked up their business license. They're located out of like Signal Hill, but then when you look it up again, it's like based out of Los Alamitos. So there's like, where the fuck is this brewery
They're
at?
It's like your
Kansas.
IP address is pinging everywhere, like in the
dude.
Kansas,
the James
El
Bond.
Segundo.
Yeah, and it's like, dude, and then they're just like, they're releasing cans, but how come we don't get any? How come, where do we find this? And how come people are posting pictures all over the place? And it's just like all the boys posting pictures, you know? But
Damn.
Yeah.
You might have to do a speakeasy.
Yeah.
you know what? The place that we're at is a speakeasy, dude, because they do distillery too. They do they distill vodka, whiskey, all that shit.
Your shared space.
Yeah, so we're a co-op. It's crazy because they got like burlesque girls that dance there too.
No way.
But yeah, that's the crazy thing is like when you go into the tasting room, you would never think a brewery called Three Chiefs is there, you know.
Right.
So well, that's why we haven't announced it because we also don't have enough beers to.
Fill the taps.
Yeah, we can fill the taps. Well, we have like 4, 5, or 6 beers on tap, but we want to make sure everything is like solid, you know, like 100% happy with it. And most of the beers that we made, we sent to Guam. So
On behalf of the people of Guam, we thank you for thinking about us.
exactly, thank you guys for trying out our stuff.
Very hard to find. Until recently, because I know Foodies has it now, but when it first got released on Guam and everyone was taking pictures, everyone was like, where can we find this beer?
I was
Oh
only
my
finding
God,
it at
can't-
Kitchen Lingo at that
I was only
point.
finding it on WhatsApp back then. I was like, where's the beer at?
I know. I don't even have beers for myself, like stash, dude. So I went to what is that? Shell right here in Agana, dude. Foodies, bro.
And
like,
you buy your own beer?
I bought my own beer.
You buy your own beer.
I had to support, right? I had to support.
I got to support myself.
Oh, that's a good
If
one.
mom's not gonna buy it, no one's gonna buy
Hey,
it for
bro,
me,
it's like a
dude.
politician. A politician that don't vote for herself.
If I wouldn't buy it for myself, then no one's gonna buy my beer.
Right. Like, why would I not buy my own beer?
Yeah, I bought the light one too because I was driving.
Are they selling it in these cans? Because I would like to buy it in these cans. These cans are.
Will you be
fucking
selling
legit.
the crawlers on Guam, or is it only just the?
No, we'll be doing. I think
Wait. What are these called?
crowlers.
Crowlers.
Yeah,
okay.
so they're like glass growlers, but instead they're in cans. But I think I don't know the 100% like info on it, but I know Foodies got some crowler machines because I think they are gonna start doing crowler fills. So I know they mentioned they wanted us to start sending them kegs of beers because they want to do
What a
some more
game
fills like that.
changer, dude! You go to the gas station to fill up your
fill up
fucking
crowlers.
beer.
Yep.
What? Game changer, bro.
Yeah, you know, and these are gonna be like exclusive beers that we're gonna like sell. We're not gonna be like, oh, here's Chasing Sunset, and you can fill a crowler because you can get those in cans already. But I don't think we're gonna can beers like this because they're very expensive to make. So, we'll definitely sell
I better keep this in my mouth.
kegs.
We'll hold it for next year.
What?
Let me put it in a vial.
What? I'm just wishing it.
But you know, a lot of people on Guam were kind of curious because I know Mermaids does growler fills, or they used to when they were open. I don't know what they're kind of confused about the legality about open container. Because I mean, you can be sipping your growlers and close it, and then what would GPD say? You know, like,
Right.
oh, it's an open container, but no, it's been closed. Like, I don't know, you could have been sipping from it. You know, some people might be more reluctant. I guess the laws need to be more open,
More
as
updated.
updated at least as far as what we're allowed to carry in the car. Because I go to my, you know, I'm innocent drinker and go to my car, go to the gas station and fill up my growler, and go home, and I'm cherry, you know. But along the way, GPD pulls you over and say, okay, I have an open container because it's not in a sealed bottle cap or whatever. I mean, I don't know how people will be more reluctant. So I guess you would have the laws more updated and publicized, so people won't be afraid to be like, oh no, that's open container.
Yeah.
You know, I guess that's one of the things that people have been asking me too.
Well, I guess it's almost like having an empty beer can in the back of your truck, right?
Still open container.
Yeah, it's like this open container. Like, no, that shit's been in the back of the truck for like a week.
Yeah.
They're trashing my truck.
I don't even like that beer. What are you talking about? I don't even drink that.
Someone threw that back there.
I don't check that shit every day.
You'd be surprised I own a truck, dude. There's so many people that throw their trash in the back of my
You
truck.
know where I work?
Is that considered littering or no?
You should charge them.
That's his problem.
Hey, public trash can.
But yeah, I mean that's the same idea, right? The same concept of an open container.
Yeah, especially if it was like those glass ones, because those are recapable.
Yeah.
You know, I think people seal it in the States. They just kind of black tape it.
Oh, okay.
It's like, shit, just put black tape.
Yeah,
after
dude.
it.
I actually know people here who bring their growlers from here to the States so that they can go.
Really?
Yeah, go and refill their beer
And bring it back.
and
yeah,
then
yeah,
bring
yeah.
it back.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I was asking. I ran into a friend on the plane. I was like, "What are you holding there?" He's like, "My growler." I was like, "What the
Nerd.
I was like,
Was it with two
fucking-
hands
Yeah, I was like, it's
cradling it?
empty.
Fill it with water when you get thirsty.
Yeah, at least Messiah, dude. But then he says, "Yeah, I'm gonna go fill it up. You know, come back and have beer to myself."
Nice.
Oh.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. See, we want to be able to have some beers people can trade from out here too. So
Yeah, but I it's cool because the way you're planning on doing it, you're changing the whole tap room thing, right? You're putting the tap room available into a gas station now.
yeah.
Something that's
It's
not
more
really
convenient,
seen. Yeah. Not
So-
really seen in the States at all, right?
Yeah. Foodies is really changing it, man. They're carrying a bunch of cool beers there. You know, they got some water times and pizza port, and you can just walk in there at whatever late hours of the day, you know?
Yeah.
Now it'll be even cooler because now we're going to start sending some kegs over there where, shit, can't get fresher than that, you know?
Yeah, it's Bill Atta who runs who runs
no
the,
affiliation.
Nah, he's the mastermind behind the whole foodies and changing up the whole gas station experience, right? Because in the States, when you go to gas station to gas station, if you're in the middle of nowhere and it's like super far, you're really gonna
just buy the hot dogs.
Yeah, it's gonna have all the food, it's gonna have the souvenirs, everything in one. But he wanted to bring sort of a store to the gas station that really changed it up. You want hot food? You want cold food? You want super badass beer?
Changed the game for sure, and it's everywhere.
It's everywhere, dude.
And it's nice when you walk in there, dude. You know, it's not
it's
like
everywhere above Chalampago. Sorry for the down south cruise. You can't really get it down there, but you know, it's Guam.
Well, there's only one shell, right? Down there, Maritzo shell.
Yeah, unless they turn that to a foodies, then I think that's gonna sell pretty good too.
Yeah, I mean, because all the people in Maritzo are trying to get beer. It's like,
what if you only make your beers available in Maritzo?
Right.
People have to drive down to Maritzo to get those beers. I think people will fucking drive down, dude.
Remind you that over there. The gas is $4 and 20 some cents. Just to remind you. I drive a V6. Yeah, keep some up in Central.
Well, if you have the Leaf, then you're good.
True.
Or just tell your cousins, bro, I'll trade you a cigarette for that one beer over there.
Hey, can you just fill it up and drive it up? I'll buy you cheap cigarettes up here.
I'll get you a fuck shirt.
Matt, how long we been going here, dude? I feel like we've been going pretty good here.
Hey, G, pass me my phone if you can.
Hour
50.
Hour 50.
What are we capping in at?
Is that
2?
too?
Oh my gosh, I don't know, dude. I thought we were still at an hour 30.
All right.
It's up to you, man. We can cap it off whenever.
Nah, dude.
Part 2 series.
Nah, dude. This is really good. I feel like you guys educated me a lot as far as tasting beers and how beer shares are supposed to go, right? Because that's sort of subculture too, right?
Yeah.
You have the culture of craft beer, and then you have the subculture of everybody getting together to share the beers that they collected over time, right? So how does that work? Is that something that's common here on Guam, or
definitely.
people do?
There's so much different circles of people who do beer shares. I mean, they can get it from all around the world and be like, oh, I got this, I got that, let's go share. And so a lot of them are just small, tight-knit groups of people. Sometimes we'll share together, but most of them are just like a few, maybe no more than a dozen people, and everyone just gets whatever beers they have, and we'll go for a share.
Right.
You know, watch the FIFA game, or just to share. My brother comes over and we share beer, just me and him, every other night. You know, it's just the fact that you want to drink beer, really good beer, whenever you with other people and talk about it. Pretty much.
Yeah, not even that much beer.
Yeah, not even that much beer.
And that's the thing, it's hard to get beers over here, you know?
Yeah.
And shit, we just want to fill that void, because there's people that do want to drink the beers that these guys are importing over here, and like you're just freaking out, like, how the hell did they get that shit, you know?
Yeah.
But we just want to be able to be like, hey man, like, we want to make it easier for everybody here to get something that's good, good to drink.
Now, I want to say, I was gonna say quality, right?
Yeah.
That might be offensive.
Continue.
Quality. Let's just say quality.
We don't care about offenses. Go on.
I mean, you're totally right, dude. I think the mindset would need to necessarily change in order for people to drink more of these beers, to understand, like, all right, you don't need a 12-pack of Heinekens or a 12-pack of Budweisers or a 12-pack of Millers to get drunk, right? Or have a good time. You can literally have 2 beers and still be good and not worry about the beer belly or whatever it may be, right?
Yeah.
What is that? What are we looking at?
Forget out the color in that one.
Both of you guys got excited as the beer showed up.
So this is a beer from Miami, Jay Wakefield. So this is the guy who I did a collaboration with, the Antique Cocoa. This guy's known for Berliners and stouts. So this is a Berliner. So it's a sour kettle beer, just like what
the really good
Antigua
beer
made.
that Johnny made here.
Antigua Brewing.
Yeah.
So it's like same thing, sour kettle, but This is 6%.
You said Berliner Weiser.
Weiss, yeah.
Weiss.
Berliner.
Weiss.
So the beer is called Haterade. It's like a fruit punch inspired Berliner Weiss. I tried this thing in Miami when we were there, and it's delicious, dude. And I freaked out that I made it all the way here in Guam. I bought a case of this, 125
A case?
for a case, 24 cans.
What?
Yeah.
Damn.
So don't be surprised if you wanted a case here on Guam and then you spend like over $100.
Yeah, I saw a case of Modern Times is about $76 over at Foodies.
Dude, so what you pay is what we pay too, dude, in the States, dude.
Well, that's good though, because you would expect the prices to inflate as it comes here because of importing and shipping and stuff like that.
Listen to that. Right there, dude. It smells like fruit punch too, dude.
It looks like
It looks.
Like one of those like popsicle.
creamsicles. Yes.
And then he also made another one with that, like same release date. They made a beer called Troll So Hard.
The green one, and like, is that freaking coloring, food coloring in that?
Shit, I don't know how he made it green, dude, but like I know you can get sour, or like what, watercress.
Dude, it does taste like, it does smell like Gatorade, dude.
Like Kool-Aid, right?
Fruit punch Gatorade.
Dude, it smells like Kool-Aid. Exactly.
More sour than yours, dude.
Oh, wow.
Very much so. Yeah.
Enamel peeler. Wow.
Yeah.
This will peel the paint off your car.
Shit. I don't know,
He
bro.
just used
No, it's really good.
He just used lacto. He didn't use PDO.
He has like mixed culture, dude. But I know that because I tried to ask him for, like, you know, like, hey, dude, you mind sharing your culture that you've been using? He's like, I'll share anything except for that.
Yeah,
I get it because he's known for this.
Why is that the most important thing?
This is what makes his beer. Like, that's what he gets. That's where he gets the acidity from.
It's super
the flavor.
Wow,
it is.
Question: is there dregs that you can harvest from these?
No, because like the Berliner, you know, you boil it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So he kills it off.
I know, because I know sometimes they do a no boil.
I am a huge fan of sours. I must say that again.
It's hearty. It's nice.
Dude.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
So I was with this guy in San Diego when he brewed a Berliner for Stone. Usually you boil for 15 minutes, right? If you just want to kill.
Stone is the
Brewery.
devil.
Gargoyle and stuff.
Okay, yeah, gargoyle. Right.
Just to pasteurize.
Yeah, so they usually boil for 15 minutes, right? But for Stone, because it's such a expensive brewery with a lot of investments in it, it's like they wanted to brew it for an hour. But because when you boil it for so long, you kind of concentrate everything. Fuck, when I tried that shit, I was like, dude, it's like acid, dude. It really did burn the enamel off my teeth, dude. But
wow.
But it's not necessarily something that you're like, oh no, not again.
yeah,
It's almost like you're sitting on the fences between pickled and
Oh yeah. It makes
And
you want to
good.
go back for more.
yeah.
Like
It's
like the Nancy.
yeah, like a sour beer like this, you kind of want to take a few sips.
Yeah, it
before
doesn't even taste. It smells sour.
No, it smells sweet,
Yeah, the aroma's still sweet.
like fruit punch.
Damn.
Yeah, dude.
Matt, you tried this yet?
But yeah, that's the thing, right? Like a bunch of people here like sour beers. Like when we threw that beer event at Kitchen Lingo, everyone just wanted a sour. I had a 12% stout there too. Same thing with coconut and coffee from Coffee Slut, and they just wanted the sours, dude. So I feel like that's what people want here, and then IPAs too. Everyone wants the IPAs, so.
Okay, is it? I have this question for you guys. Is it common for IPAs to sort of smell like have like a stench to it, like a stinky smell?
Like catty, like cat piss, or dank, like skunk.
Almost like a wet rag.
Nah. I don't think so.
Maybe it was a cup that I was poured into.
Maybe they just
Fucking
freaking.
shit.
What restaurant did you try this at? Because I would never put my beer there. Then.
Not name.
And IPA was on tap.
Yeah, it was an IPA, and it's usually this IPA that I drink that it's It's the Goose Island IPA. And it really it always smells stinky for some reason.
Nah, I don't think it's supposed to stink, dude. Because
Okay.
I drank, because they have Goose Island IPA like in the airplane too, bro. Like, and it doesn't stink.
Was it only Goose Island that you tried, or was it other beers?
It's
from
every
that
time I
place?
drink that Goose Island.
You know, it could be the tap.
Dirty Lines.
Dirty
Lines.
Lines, yeah.
Yeah.
You get a
Because
lot of
I
funk.
mean this. I'm like, fuck, I want to drink this. But that, I'm like, oh.
Hey, off the record, I'm gonna find out.
Just so you know.
Cause you ain't gonna serve no 3 Chiefs.
So that's what we were talking
Dirty
about
Lines, right,
a
right,
while
right.
ago. Is
Right,
like
right.
intentionally soured versus wild yeast unintentionally soured. So what you were tasting, like, it freaking stinks. That's the one that was probably either wild yeast or, you know,
Like not on purpose, right? Like,
not on purpose. Yeah.
Sort of something stuck
Accident.
from the last tap.
could be, yeah.
Yeah,
if you
it
didn't
could be.
sanitize it well, you know.
You didn't change the lines.
Yeah, is that a common thing that you should do when
Every
you
time sanitize, dude. Like, if your beers get infected, it's because you didn't really sanitize or clean well. You're probably like a lazy guy who just fucking tried to clean that shit.
I think the only thing I'm thinking of is at the tournaments, right, Matt? And Johnny, you can attest too.
Alumni
I mean,
tournaments?
yeah. I mean, the kegs just go in and out, in and out, and in and out, and in and out, and in and out, right? But
yeah.
like when you're doing jiu-jitsu and you don't clean your mats, bro, you get that ringworm. Exactly like that, bro. You're gonna get that wild bacteria on your fucking skin, dude. You gotta
I don't
clean your
know.
mats.
He's trying to say something here.
Yeah, bro, fungus.
Clean your shit on them and off the mat.
yeah, sanitation is important, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
beer is like 80% sanitation. Doesn't matter how much money, how much you know, how much whatever you put into your beer. You can just so much as accidentally cough into your beer, and you just threw hundreds to thousands of dollars away
Huh.
just because a bug flew in,
Or you're
you know.
dusting
yeah.
something off your shirt. You're like, oh shit.
Yeah, you got your dog hair in there, dude.
You freaking, you know, like your fingernails are dirty.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, for real.
If you breathe into it, if it's open and it's already cooled.
So protection wise, what are you trying? Face mask, hairnet.
I mean,
Gloves.
preferably you don't need to go to
Yeah.
that extreme, but I mean, just, you know, I at least for a professional brewer.
Fucking Tyvek.
No,
fucking
dude.
suit.
Spandex. Fucking leotard. Fucking ice skater.
Leotards, I just had shit in my mind.
You don't want to see what's under my Tyvek suit.
No, but as on these, where the system that these guys use, you know, everything's in pumps and isolated things, you know. But you don't have open air when you're racking onto your fermenter. You don't have I have open air going in. You know, these guys have pumps and everything, so it's a little bit easier for them. It's just
I see. So when you're transferring your beer, you have to open up, fucking pour.
not necessarily pour. I have a siphon.
Okay.
But you know, the siphon has to go through the top of the boil kettle, and that exposes the air. If it's a windy day, if it's raining, whatever. If freaking drops of, I don't know, but if a drop of rain gets in,
Right. If a bird
it can
flies
contaminate
by
the
and
whole
fucking
freaking
flutters his wings right by
exactly.
you, right?
It can contaminate the
Okay,
whole
okay.
beer. Yeah,
And that's all sugar, dude. So like mosquitoes and shit, they're gonna be super attracted to that thing, you know.
they love
Right.
it. They love it.
Do you have a mosquito problem?
Yes, I stay near bamboos.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
so,
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, you stay in the fucking valley pretty much, bro. I mean,
So I asked my girlfriend, whenever it's a rainy day and there's mosquitoes in the air, there's flies outside, whatever it may be, I'm freaking lugging that huge ass, kettle inside my house because there's nothing, you know, it's still air, and it's just being by myself and freaking carrying everything. But that's what you have to do. It's like I put too much time, too much money into this beer for some little freaking fly to get in. I'd rather just, you know,
fuck shit up.
and fuck shit up. I'd rather, you know, and a lot of times I don't have help, so I don't want to ask her to carry it, so I'm just freaking lugging it inside my house, putting it on my counter, racking it inside my house, and that's what you got to do.
That's good. Yeah.
The troubles of a home brewer, Charles knows.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. I remember one time we're just drinking. We're all brewing together, and we're just like, you know, like you drink a lot during the process, and then you just get lazy. So it's like, oh shit, never mind, just clean that later. So we forgot to empty out the grains, dude. So the next day, dude, that shit smelled like garbage can, dude. It's like
that quickly.
Yeah, because there's a bunch of like wild bacteria that's in there, and it's starting to warm up. So it's like just dirty grains, bro.
Yeah.
You know, hey, you ever try forgetting about your grains and just trying to clean it later?
Yeah, in my mash.
Yeah.
Dude, it's stinky, man.
Stinks, dude.
Even just like a couple hours later, that thing will start to smell.
I would
Based
think
on
here
warm.
it's faster than
Yep.
than there. But yeah, dude, you just gotta clean shit right away. That's why you call them boys. Oh, I'll give you beer for cleanup.
Which I'm sure they're more than willing.
Where you coin at brewing together, right? It's like,
Yeah.
we're doing this together, guys. We're drinking together. We're doing it together.
I'll brew his beer. You guys clean. I'll give you the same amount of beer I get.
Nice.
You know, it's the
I
same
mean, yeah. I
people.
mean, it all works out, right?
Yeah. And, you know, like, shit, I want to teach these guys too, bro, because, you know, like, I want them to geek out on that stuff. So anything they can learn off of me, like, shit, I'm willing to help, you know?
Yeah. Paying it forward is a real huge important thing.
And, you know, like, we're not going to forget the guys that helped us out, so.
Yeah. What are we drinking here, Johnny?
Don't look at the label. You know, as a home brewer, the struggle is recycle and reuse bottles. So that's a different bottle. That's my beer. That's a Trappist clone. So I try and do a Belgian Trappist beer, which is pretty much like a few hundred years old, the recipe. Yeah, it's a little dark. The yeast comes from Belgium, isolated from the Rochefort. I don't know how to say it.
Like the monks?
The
From
monks,
right?
yeah. That's monk beer. Little history about this beer. Back in like the 16th century, 17th century, when there was famine, what they would do is that they take the grain and transform into beer. And so if there's a drought or anything and there's no grain, they have beers in their cellar, hundreds of cans or hundreds of bottles of beer. So they'll take their beer and drink it, and that's their caloric intake, that's their carbohydrate intake, that's their meal of the day. Damn. Because when grain doesn't last, the beer will last.
Right.
So,
Wait, this is Imperial Stout?
no, don't look at that.
So,
No.
Your homebrew, okay.
Homebrew, yeah, reusing it. Cause you saw the color, like this looks more like a barley wine than an Imperial Stout.
Bro, you need to dip that in hot water, dude, and or put a blow dryer to it and just peel it off, you know.
This is just a classic Belgian double, nothing Belgian single, nothing over the top about it. I want the yeast and the malt to shine out more than any hops. You probably can't even taste any of the hops. I use Hallertau and Styrian Goldings. Very low
this
IBU.
is really good too.
Yeah,
Very low
smooth.
IBU.
Very smooth.
Yeah.
Thank
For
you.
being a darker beer?
It's still a little young.
What's the ABV?
It came out to I think
Okay, I'm sorry. What is
alcohol by volume.
Okay.
Like the alcohol percentage?
Yeah,
okay.
It didn't come up to the double standard, which I wanted it to. I guess I didn't put enough sugar in it, but it came out to about 5.6. Not as high as I wanted to, but
So is there like a scale or like a litmus paper or
meters. Oh, are you
It's-
talking about for ABV?
yeah,
For the style or?
or just trying to test any
Oh, okay. So
ABV of any alcohol?
So you gotta, after you're done boiling, so right when you're about to ferment it, so before you pitch the yeast,
Right.
you want to know what the gravity of the sugar is, right?
Yeah.
So, so you check the gravity with like a hydrometer or like a density meter, or I use one of the, it's like a $3,500 tool.
Jeez.
We check Plato, like what the density of sugar
This
is.
big.
It's small with a little straw, dude. You know. So I check it. You check it before you pitch the yeast,
Yeah.
and then you check it again after it's done fermenting. So I would always check it like every 2 days just to see where it stops at, because the numbers will drop, and then you just divide those numbers. So when it drops and it stays steady for like a couple days, then it's done fermenting. And then you check that, you divide it, you get the number, and it'll tell you what your percentage is.
Ah,
So-
I see. I see. I mean, it's not like It's not like whiskey, right? The proof. They get the proof and then they divide it. And that's the percentage of alcohol it is.
You know what? It could be. I just don't know how they measure it on the alcohol side. Because I know they do proof and then you times that by 2 and that's what you're... Or proof and then you divide that by 2.
Or is it the percentage and then you multiply it by 2? Same
yeah,
shit, right?
Right? It's like 151 times 2 or divided by 2 is what your alcohol is.
Right.
So, but yeah, that's how you get the alcohol, dude. Or do you find out what the percentage is? Or you can get an alkalizer. Shit, I don't know how much that thing costs.
What's the percent of alcohol that beer is sort of the standard, right? Before it's like, nah, this ain't beer, dude. You know, this is way too high a percentage of alcohol.
Oh, you know what? I don't even know. Well, I think if you just ferment it, so you get the grains, you ferment it with just yeast, then I guess that's still beer.
Yeah.
But then once you start distilling it, like you boil it, distill it, and then you collect the distilled part of it, then that's like your spirits. So I think as long as you don't distill it, then it's still beer. Like
so it doesn't matter what the percentage of the beer is.
No. But I just don't know how they get the proof out of it,
right?
Like the measurement. But so this place that we're working with, we co-op with, there was a brewery before us that was in there, so they had a tank full of stout, and it tasted like shit to me. I guess they brewed it in October, and it was still sitting there for a few months. You can age a stout, but for some reason this shit didn't age well. But we're just like, hey man, let's fucking dump this shit because we don't want it and we want to start using these tanks. So the landlord guy was just like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and distill it, and then once it's empty, then you guys can go ahead and use it. But once he distilled it, it was like clear, dude. It was like clear whiskey, but you smelt it. It smelled like chocolate. I was like, dude, that shit's cool. But yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, dude. But I don't know how they
How's that possible though?
I guess you just get the vapors from it, right?
Condensation.
Yeah. Those condensations.
So that's where the taste would come from.
That's where like the alcohol.
Some of them will come with the beer because soju is like potatoes.
So we distilled the beer, but it still tastes like chocolate. It didn't.
I don't
have
know
a
if it
clean
tastes
taste.
like chocolate, but it had the smell.
Oh, smell. Sorry.
Yeah, because the taste is just like alcohol, like
Okay.
straight up alcohol, dude. Like, damn. But yeah, that was interesting. That was some cool shit.
So now there's I don't know if you tried Jameson's own cask whatever.
Like bourbon barrel aged whiskey.
Yeah, they use they age their whiskey in stout barrels. And so now, because right now what people do is that they age their stouts or whatever beer in whiskey barrels.
Mm-hmm.
But what Jameson did is they reversed it and they aged their whiskey in barrels that were fermented with beer.
And how did it change their whiskey?
It I mean, you wouldn't really tell too much of it. Some smokiness comes out, but any of the whiskeys will have smokiness because of the peat or whatever. But
right.
there wasn't too much of a difference, but it was still cool. You know, it was fermented or aged in beer barrels instead of the other way around.
Because, like you said, it's more common for craft beers to be
so they
aged
use
in whiskey barrels.
Not only whiskey, but it depends on the kind of beer. But you can do wine barrels, whiskey barrels, tequila barrels, rum barrels. I know you guys did a rum barrel.
Why is that?
Just for flavor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like
it makes sense.
I tried some wine that was aged in bourbon barrels too from Robert Mondavi. That was cool because I like full-bodied wines. I like Cabernets and shit. I guess once it was into a full-bodied beer, like like aged in that, it was pretty good, dude. And it's like not even expensive too. It's like probably like a $20 bottle.
Sometimes you really taste it. I forgot which Russian River was it. Supplication, one of the Temptation. I forgot which one, but they age it in wine barrels, and you can really taste the white wine, the Chardonnay coming out of it. Just like with bourbon, if you taste something that was bourbon versus not bourbon, it's night and day. If you taste a regular stout that was fermented traditionally versus a stout that was aged in a bourbon barrel, you would totally taste the difference.
Yeah, it's like more complex, dude.
Yep.
But they charge more for it. It's like, hey, here's a $200 barrel. Just put some beer in it and it just gives it a different complexity.
Right.
There's some breweries that live by only bourbon barrels, or not only bourbon but by barrels. They only condition, age, whatever, secondary fermentation in barrels only. They don't even use.
Is it most common to put it in kettles or kegs, or?
It depends.
Yeah, like it's just easier just to ferment it in stainless like tanks versus putting them in barrels. You know, and you can put them out faster.
Well, because you're not losing the alcohol too, right? Because when you fill up a barrel, the wood will eventually absorb the alcohol
And evaporate it out.
and then when the season change, it'll push the alcohol back out of the wood, because that's how whiskey is done, right?
Yeah.
So whiskey goes in as moonshine, right? Very clear, and then they put it in the burnt barrel, and then as it ages, as the seasons change, the pressure would change and the temperature would change.
The contractions.
And so right. And so the barrel would actually, a full barrel would become a quarter barrel.
Yeah, angel share.
Right.
Yeah.
And then as the season changes, it'll fill back up again, but only up to like 3/4, right? So to age it in barrels, you're actually sacrificing beer.
Volume for quality, though.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So that's why, like, there's people that charge $35 for a bottle now, man. Like this size bottle right here, Wakefield will charge like $35, $40 a bottle if it was aged in a barrel.
People would pay that.
And they got people camping out the night before for that shit. Dude.
They could resell that bottle for $300, $400 or more.
Yeah.
Like with his antiques. I mean, you can buy a bottle for whatever they're selling it at. And
do they have like beer expos where people are selling these off-market beers?
No, it's all like secondary or in person. Yeah. So go to there's a place called Beer Advocate.
Okay.
And that's where you find people who are trading beers or looking for beers. You can go Beer Advocate, you can go to Rate Beer. Shit, man. You know what? A lot of people here should start doing Untapped and start checking in like the beers they like and reviewing it, and that'll help like your local brewery. Like, hey man, this beer sucks, like give it a 2, or this beer is great, give it a 5. You kind of want to give recognition to the breweries that are making really good beers. You know, show them like the Yelp review star type of thing.
Right.
So that prevents the bubble from tapping, because like, okay, I have 150 breweries in California to pick from. I go on Yelp or Untapped or whatever, and I'm only looking for these amount of beers. Everyone else is not getting my money's worth.
Yeah, and the curve doesn't necessarily change, right?
Yeah. So you're pretty much weaning out the people who aren't having good quality, and it shows with the customers. So
yeah,
it's good.
Thank God for the internet.
Right? It's like they're like, man, this brewery isn't getting recognized for the good shit that they have. They're not making that much money because nobody is really giving them the credibility, you know?
Right.
While these guys are like getting so much fucking good ratings, but just because the other people don't know these guys, you know? And I don't know, who knows? Maybe these guys will shut down because the only ones that are paying their bills are just locals. Maybe there's not enough locals, or, you know, you gotta kind of like represent them too.
Right.
So,
gentlemen.
Yeah, that was I believe we can go for hours and hours.
Yeah, we could. You know, maybe next year when I come back. Or
no, yeah, for sure. I mean, it's definitely been a very educational, and I'm pretty sure everyone listening is like taking down notes too, right?
Yeah.
Where is this Three Chiefs location at? Did I get any hints?
Where still Signal Hill, Los Alamitos. could be anywhere.
My IP address is bumping everywhere. Throw off the bad guys.
Right. Yep.
But before we cut out of here, I just want to thank you guys, dude. I think what you guys are doing is changing the culture here, right?
Yeah.
Because the culture's been the same for decades and decades, and it's about time that people start coming out and and start changing what society is believed to be, right? And that goes for all forms of art. I consider you guys, what you guys are doing is an art form, because you literally have to pay attention to the details and the intricacies of, dude, and literally be meticulous about what you're doing every single time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And from you, Johnny, being a home brewer, wanting to open up your own brewery here in Guam, where it's difficult, to you, Charles, dude, where you're on the verge. You sit in a big pond with a lot of fish, but now you're at that phase where we're brick and mortar now.
Yeah.
Now we can actually start doing stuff.
Let's see where we stand.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Do you sort of like have a prediction of how things are gonna turn out, or?
I'm still confident. I mean, like, if I was doubting myself, dude, I probably wouldn't even do this shit, you know. But I've heard so many good things about the stuff that I do. I like the beers that I've been producing so far. You know, still being humble, you know, like still taking everybody else's feedbacks and critiques. I still take that to heart. You know, like I'm my worst critic. If I think something's good, then I'm gonna be like, oh shit, this shit's good, you know, like. But if I have a beer that I'm not so confident about, I still probably would have been like put it out there.
Give it to the boys that clean.
Say, hey, we'll put that to the stash. That's our work beer.
Yeah.
You know?
What do you think Johnny needs to do to sort of make the industry happen here
On Guam?
Yeah, being a homegrown.
You just gotta keep passing out your beers, dude. Pass it out to everybody. Let them taste it, because only you can
prevent forest fires.
right.
I feel you though. Yeah.
But yeah, the more people that try your beers, the better, right?
Yeah.
You're creating value, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You give out. That's sort of the way the culture here works. First, hey boy, can you just give me some free ones?
My mentality
I'll
is,
pass it out to my boys.
Wells Par. Share.
Don't worry. We'll buy it later. We'll buy it. Your next batch.
My mentality is always the beer comes before the money.
Right.
Yeah.
I can sell everything I make, no
dude,
problem.
I mean, I feel you, dude. With everything,
But,
with what I'm doing here with the podcasts, I found that I needed to be passionate first before anything else can come out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, without passion, dude, where else would it be?
Yeah.
You
sort of would lose the love for it.
Yeah. Like if you're just thinking of chasing the money, then you're probably not gonna make good stuff, because now you're just being pressured and releasing some shitty shit.
Yeah, and I think that's the difficulty that a lot of us here on Guam really face with trying to break out of that corporate way and kind of find that entrepreneurial way. It's very hard, dude. I mean, fuck. It's incredibly hard to sort of break through and make a following. We almost have to break out of Guam in order to make it, right? Not in a sense of leaving here, but expanding the borders, making the borders wider. Right?
Yeah. I think it's gonna be super hard for me, man, because there are a lot of breweries out there, and now I'm just like, shit, dude. Now I gotta kind of shine and stand out, you know, like, versus everybody else that's out there.
Well, stay true to what you're doing.
Yeah. Like, you know, you can't always, because I do go on Untapped and I do read other people's reviews, and I do hear people saying like, oh, this is too sweet, or oh, this is too roasty, and I'm just like,
have you seen any reviews on your beers?
Yeah, all the time. I do look at them, but you
can't please everyone.
Yeah, you know, sometimes you can't always. You're not gonna change your recipe based on what that guy thinks, you know.
Yeah.
That's the thing, dude. And
it's like you're not gonna change your questions based on what people think about your podcast.
Right.
You brew what you want to brew.
Right.
People want to drink.
Yeah, man. It's like, hey, thanks for trying our beers. You know, like, we're not like Burger King, bro. You're not gonna have it your way all the time. You know, it's like shit. If you don't like it, thanks for coming. Thanks for trying it out. We're probably not the kind of brewery for you. You know, like. But tell us what you like, and maybe we can send you to the guys next door who makes something that's more inviting to you. But like we're just we're different, bro. Like I would even enter my beers in like one of those
national
contests and shit, you know, just because like I do kind of steer my way out of the style a little bit just to kind of stand out more.
But that's what you need to do.
Yeah.
But it doesn't sound like you're trying to gain validity from anybody.
No, it's just the stuff that I like to drink, dude. And it's like I've drank so many beers out there, and like I know what I like.
Yeah.
And those are the kind of beers that I'm gonna drink.
And so you sort of know how they're supposed to taste, right?
I do, yeah. And you know what? The thing about this is what I think. Like people on the West Coast, like they're very safe the way they make beers, and in the East Coast they're very
avant-garde.
Yeah,
avant-garde.
Like they're just like, hey, dude, I don't know, man. They just do their own shit, and I feel like,
what was your thing? Fuck it, throw it in.
Fuck
just
it.
Fuck it.
Yeah, fuck it, dude. I did a speech over at Inspire Guam. Shit, the next one they have that you guys should definitely. Johnny did it.
Yeah.
You should definitely come out, dude. I mean, it'll definitely inspire people to want to do stuff. But yeah, basically my message was, because we live in a place that we do. I mean, Guam, everyone's judging you, right? I mean, what are you gonna do? Worry about what people have to say about what you're doing and how you're doing it and the way you're doing it, or you can just say fuck it and just do it, right?
I agree, man. Yeah. I agree, dude.
Which is why we're sitting here today, gentlemen, saying bad words on the talk show.
Yeah, fuck it.
The more you drink, dude, the
truth comes out.
Hey, but you know what? Like we had that beer fest on Sunday, dude. Like everyone was like plastered and everyone was happy, bro. You know, like we had the dance floor filled with a bunch of fucking guys dancing doing crazy shit, bro. We had like fucking black belts doing some crazy shit that I would never know, you know, like, or like, dude, did that guy just get like 10 times more sexier? Like asking the chicks, like, hey, what do you think of that guy now? Like, that guy's cool as fuck, huh?
With the accent, right?
He's not so shy anymore. It's like, I was like, oh fuck.
Sometimes it brings the best of us out,
yeah.
or the worst of us.
I mean, I feel like when you drink beers like this and you're not overdoing it, it doesn't force you to overdo it.
That's what I tell my mom.
Or become something other than what you want to represent yourself as. I mean, look, we've gone through how many bottles and cans of beer, and
like 6,
and we all shared with each other, it's been chill, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's and percentages that God.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's gonna hit you before you drink a shitload, you know, like you drink those lighter beers, you're gonna be drinking a shitload just to get that buzz, dude. Next thing you know, like when it finally comes, you drank way too much of that shit. Like, oh shit, now I have it. But it's
Fuck, I shouldn't have taken those 5 shots and down those 2 beers.
They're finally coming, dude.
Yeah. But before we head out, if you're any last words from either of you, you can promote anything you want, put anything out you want. The floor is yours. Whoever wants to go first.
I don't really got too much to say. At least as far as like working your passion, I always go by Winston Churchill. I don't even know if he's the one who said it, but no, there's speculation. But success is going from failure to failure without loss of enthusiasm, which means you can keep failing and failing and failing. But if you're still passionate about it, you will succeed and you will come on top. Just don't worry about failure. You will succeed. Just keep pushing at it. And that's beer. What beer is. You fail and you fail, and then you fail some more, and then you start succeeding, and then
you probably fell again.
Then you fell again. Oh my God, I can't even tell you how many times. But you know that's what it is. You can't let it bring you down. Even with beer, with brewing, with business, with art, whatever it is. Just keep doing what you're doing, and you'll come out fine.
You want to promote your stuff? How people can follow you?
The only way you can follow me is on Instagram, pretty much. I'm sorry if I don't have beers for sale. I'm just trying to keep my keg taps full. I'm where Charles was years ago. I just want enough to have for my family, friends, and more, and for me. And just wait, and hopefully soon my brewery will pop up in the next few years, and you'll get to try the beer.
I'll trade you for it.
Hey, Wales part Wales.
Yeah. Yeah, I just like to say thank you to everybody out here trying our beers, giving it a chance. If you like it, you can find them at Foodies, Mosa's, Kitchen Lingo. Hopefully, we're able to serve it at more places than just those three. But yeah, man, continue to drink it. If you like it, we'll send more. If you guys don't like it, we'll probably stop sending it. So, but thanks.
From what I've tried tonight, don't stop. Fuck.
Yeah, it's a passion of mine, dude. So it would suck to see it fail. But yeah, I would like to send more.
How can people follow you?
You can go on Instagram. It's Three Chiefs Beer.
3 with the 3 or 3
spelled with
three.
the
Okay.
Yeah, we can spell it out.
TRC. You know I spell 3.
TREE. Tree Chiefs.
Tree and Jiro.
Yeah, Instagram and no Snapchat.
Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook. We got Facebook, so you guys can follow that. We have a website, 3chiefsbrewing.com, but it's still kind of in the works, just because we're still kind of being secret on the official opening.
Right.
But
any like Master Roundup exclusive.
Well,
just like a sort of estimated.
you know what? We're shooting for August.
Okay.
Yeah, soft opening in El Segundo. So if you have any of your friends that are listening in, once we release,
When in August? Because I'll be.
I would say mid-August. So I don't have an official date. Maybe the 18th. I gotta look at my calendar, bro. I was like,
Shit, when am I gonna be?
I gotta confirm more than that.
I'll be in the States. But I'll be in the Bay Area, so I don't know. It's
dude, find a mule. That's what we
Find
call
a
it.
mule. Yeah.
We call it mules, guys who line up at the breweries to
Yep.
get beers for the boys and stuff.
Oh.
But once we find out what the release date, we're probably gonna do Faja bottled. So we'll have that bottled, and if you know anyone who's gonna show up for the release date, dude, we'll have them for sale.
Cool.
And probably gonna be limited to like 200 bottles or less. But we'll be sure to have a bunch of cool beers and shit. And I think we spoke to 56 Hope, so I think they're
live band.
Yeah, we'll have some live bands and some food, probably Guam Grill or something.
Nice.
But that's unofficial right now. But we're gonna beg them to serve.
Cool.
August Expedia.
Hey, the locals heard it first, dude.
California.
The Cali locals heard
Anybody have miles I
You
can
guys-
borrow?
You guys should
Just
love
need
this to them.
75,000 to get to LA.
I'll bring you beer back.
I'll bring your beer back.
Dude, I wouldn't be surprised if people are doing
I'm sure, dude.
Right.
People are already calling right now. Prim.
I'll give you my miles, bro. I got like 55,000 miles.
I can already hear people calling up
I want 2
because
growlers.
Prim.
Right?
Dude, 3 Chiefs. Get it. Puff a butt.
I heard it on that podcast. What is that? What station is that?
Dude.
Guys, thank you.
That's
Thank you,
no-
dude.
hey.
It's been extremely educational. It's been extremely fun sharing the beers, tasting the beers, and God, I hope you guys are jealous listening because I would be. I honestly would be. And when do you get the chance to try these beers, dude? Seriously.
Yeah, dude. I'm pretty. I'm feeling good right now,
Yeah,
bro.
I'm feeling pretty good
Yep.
too. I'm pretty sure my red
I didn't even need. I didn't even need any of that CBD oil or anything.
Yep.
Hey, how about a CBD oil infused IPA?
Yeah. Did you? Is that?
I've done
like-
it before though.
Okay.
Not CBD, but we did put some legalized weed in there.
Extracts.
Nice.
Yeah.
But I know you can get ZPD coffee at Coffee Slut.
Coffee slut.
There you go.
Yeah,
Yep.
dude. Yeah.
Shout out.
Coffee Slut will get the shout outs in my other episode, in the episode before this. Dude, yeah, seriously. Melker and Coffee Slut, they're
Thanks to those guys,
Yeah,
dude.
for
They
reals,
made
dude.
Faja
well,
happen, dude.
they're changing it up too, right? I was asking Melker about Coffee Slut. He's like, yeah, put a crazy name out there. See how people receive it.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Shit, you see the sizes, dude? It's like, what is it? Like, there's
Oh, slutty, naughty. Forgot for like it's not grande and verde.
It's a trip though. I was like, hey, fuck, people drink it, dude. It's cool, dude.
Right.
You know, like sometimes I want to say shit like that, but
Yeah.
I can't call.
But sometimes you gotta say fuck it.
Fuck it.
yeah.
For reals, dude. We're changing the culture, dude. I mean, not for the worse, but definitely for the better. Right.
Yeah.
All the influences that the world has given us has definitely fucking changed the way we are perceiving how our world should be.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
Dude, thanks for having me.
Thanks for having
Yes.
us,
Thanks
man.
for having us.
thank you
It was
guys,
great.
and thank you guys for listening to the podcast. Maddie loves you. B in spirit, he loves you. I love you. Peace out. Until next time. See ya.
Shoot.